Hello.
Yeah, ready to go.
All right. All right. Let me check what episode it was. I think it's 37. You know, you mistitled the last one.
Yeah, my editor
Right, okay, fair
mistitled,
enough.
not me.
Ooh.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, some would say the buck stops with the man at the top, but I don't know how things ran in TSM, mate. So fair enough. anyway, put that in editor and actually maybe put the actual correct title. You worthless fuck. Right, this is going to be episode 37 of Listen Loco. That's 3 and a 7, and the last episode was 3 and a 6. So if you can keep that together, then you're probably competent to shot call Barons in the LCS because no one else is. So anyway, right, starting on that note, usual people, me, the person who is trying to say Listen Loco a lot. It's a bit forced at the moment, I can't lie. It's where I've already started like 36 episodes in or something. Then we've got our guest here, Zirene. No longer with Riot, just with us. There we go. We get them all to ourselves. There you
go. Strict downgrade.
Yeah.
First I was hanging with Freak, now I'm hanging with Thorin.
It's because the problem is, Zirene, like, to be fair, what happened was you were one of the people that your rise was facilitated by other people moving out of League of Legends. So they're all coming back now, mate. Like Croms is coming back. Like Papa Smithy's trying to like hop around regions and shit. It's like now it's getting pretty like Game of Thrones now or something. What's going on?
Yeah, I got killed off, man. Nobody's safe, dude. Nobody's safe. Got Ned Starked. But no. The whole thing with like saturation and stuff like that, I know there's a lot of personalities, but no, it's not anything close to like the reason and stuff.
Sure. And plus, to be fair, because people might not realize this, like actually one of the things that the league broadcast probably could still change as time goes on is like it could easily just get so it's like in CSGO, for example, you never do all the games in a day because obviously like, you have all breaks and stuff like that. We just didn't need that in the past because everyone was in a studio, everyone's just used to doing it. So I could even see a world in which you could accommodate a lot more talent in the LCS. You can bring in these guest people. I think it's cool. I liked it.
Is that a hint to the future?
Don't know. Listen, I just put things out there, throw seeds out there, see if they grow. If they don't, I curse the barren land. Very reasonable, balanced approach, really, isn't it? Yeah, come on.
Now that you're out, can you talk about if other caster had jealousy toward NA casters due to favoritism for like actual favoritism in terms
getting
of like,
hired for worlds and stuff?
Yeah, getting hired for worlds and NA as a region being more premier and like more pushed than the other regions.
I mean, originally, yeah, of course there was always like I think the EU office always was kind of like, hey, there might be some favoritism here and stuff like that, but ultimately it always came down to who I guess there's kind of like a natural bias, right? Because it's like Central is in NA, so they work with these people more frequently, like Kobe and Jat, etc. So it's like when Worlds assignments are coming out, the people who are managers from the talent in EU have to really push for them, and I think Quickshot became one of those people who's in those rooms, like who's going to cast what game, etc. So you kind of had to push for it, and I think when it came down to regions and stuff like that, you ultimately have to stack rank the casters, and then also say what's the most diverse desk you can have, who are the best people for it. So it always ended up being this mixture. But I do think like NA used to have a slight edge there just because I think our production was better. But the LEC is this big thing now that I think that's pretty much all gone at this point, in my opinion.
So I watched both LCS and LEC. I'd say I watched 90% of LCS and I watched like, let's say 80%, 70% of LEC. Do you watch a lot of LEC, by the way?
They can lick my balls, dude. No, no, I'm just kidding. No, I watch LEC every now and then. I pay attention to like the top teams like today and stuff.
Their broadcast is a lot more, I would say, fun and a lot more loose, and they do a lot of different things that I think NA would probably, I wouldn't say never do, but currently aren't doing. And it makes the broadcast more enjoyable, and where I feel like LCS is sometimes so formulaic, and even like the kind of sections can get really boring. I enjoyed like the Mark Z and Azael doing like the doctor stuff. I hate them doing pick and ban stuff, and I think the deaths can be really boring a lot of the times. And I don't feel that way about LEC, and they brought in so much new people, and sometimes they have guest caster. So
Do you think their desk isn't boring, or do you think they have more variety segments that resonate with the core audience?
I think for sure their variety section is a lot more fun. And maybe I find the LCS desk boring because our games are kind of shitty and there isn't a lot to talk about. And
That's true. Yeah.
also, everyone on the desk is so friendly. Maybe other than Mark Z a little bit. I think
You need an inflammatory person. You need a villain.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
Kai
that's one
and
thing
Dash.
that I do think is interesting. Is like the EU. It's obviously the joke always was that in EU solo queue everyone's just flaming each other. But the idea is if everyone's flaming each other, no one's really flaming each other. It's like we're all just accepting. Like it's like the equivalent of if you go in like the project, you go in on the basketball court in a pickup game. Like, you're not expecting the guy to be like, hey, there's a foul. Like, he was touching me, ref. It's like, no, we're playing basketball, homie. Like, this is the rules. Did the ball go in the hoop? I scored. There we go. You try and come back at me. So that's what LEC has actually become. I actually think it's clever because here's the thing. I actually don't think that style would work as well in NA because if you notice, the players embrace that style. It's like it gives them an excuse to like banter and like they always make inflammatory comments in the interview if they win. Like, yeah, I was just smurfing on him, man. Like, he's doing nothing. Like, they always do that, but it's expected though. And so as a result, because everyone does it, it's not like a big deal that like Perks did it or something, Whereas I actually feel like just in terms of like the perception, and the reason I don't think it'd work in NA as much is first of all, I don't think players are into like sort of publicly flaming as much like that, especially as like, it's just a difference in NA and Europe, actually. Like, I noticed the first times I ever went to America, people didn't seem to understand, like, why you would, like, make a joke about them if you're their friend. Like, you can do it, but, like, they would sometimes think, like, oh, it's a bit mean. It's like, nah, I'm just kidding you. I'm just breaking your balls. Or like, come on, man. And they would be like, all right. Sorry, I thought you meant it. So, like, the problem I have with that is, like, to be fair, Reddit doesn't seem to ever overreact to the banter they do in LEC. But if you think about how LCS is, mate, one phrase from Doublelift about Loco was like the top thread on the whole fucking subreddit for like a whole day. Like, the problem is people take it too seriously. It's like they think they're watching Game of Thrones, right? And like there's a story where supposedly that kid who played Joffrey was just getting like harassed in real life by like morons who couldn't figure out. Like, he's an actor, mate. He doesn't even write the lines.
Yeah.
I do feel like there's a component of that in NA where like I just worry that like some people would just take it. Like, even if the players got into it, some fans might just take it too seriously. Maybe they're not used to the banter in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there's not enough of it as well, so people aren't really inoculated to it and understand like that it is low impact. So every time they see it, it's a departure from the norm. So they don't have enough of it, right?
Sure.
I think that might be a bit where we've strayed away from it a decent amount. I don't think it's completely unwelcome. I just think it's something that they push more towards the players, or when it's going to be I would say appropriate on broadcast, because even the whole like doctor segment with Mark Z and Zale was that's flame, right? But it's a creative way to do flame instead of just throwing it out there like these guys suck, right?
Yes. So. Yeah. Because the problem is, I would actually also agree with Loco's point. To be fair, it's hard for the desk to look good if you try. Like, obviously, they're trying to do a very professional broadcast, and they've got all the production value. So, like, the problem with that is, I've made this point in the past. The way I actually developed my CS:GO style is, initially I was just doing jokes and stuff, but eventually, what I decided was, what you do is, the worse the game is, the more you make the banter, so it's entertaining, and the better the game is, the more you reduce the banter. You just do analysis. The problem is, if you just do an analysis, even if you've got the best analyst in the world. It's like having someone who's like amazing review of food and he's just eating like a fucking sloppy Joe. It's like, what's he going to say? Like, the bun and the meat's shit, actually. Yeah, right, it's 5 out of 10. And next up, he's going to try a ballpark wiener. Like, this is just normal stuff. Like, there's nothing you can do, is there? You can't be bringing out all those great adjectives about the taste and the timbre of the flavour. Like, no, you can't do that. So you can only be as good as the games when you analyse. That's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, I did Challenger for a while, so like getting people to watch, sub-professional play.
That's rough, mate.
And then I did LCS as well, so getting people to watch like sub-professional play was very, very difficult. So you have to kind of like bring your personality to it and your brand to it.
Yes.
And that's where like the casters as well, though. I feel like when you make the game about you, sometimes it's worse. But I think for the analyst desk, that's where the personalities need to really shine through. The analysts need to be able to have a lot of showmanship and make their point in the most interesting way possible. And
did you say sub-professional player?
No.
Sub-professional. No? What did you say there? Suboptimal or something? What was it?
Yeah, let's not worry about it. Let's not worry about it.
I thought I heard something. Yeah, it's probably a passing car or something. Yeah, don't worry about it. Anyway, so, right, let's just jump into this. And I'm just going to say it at the top, right? Let's just set the tone for this episode.
Okay.
Right? I actually, if you notice, Loco, on the last few episodes, and believe it or not, even when I do the EU podcast, I'm the only motherfucker who's trying to be like the voice of reason between LEC and LCS. Because all that happens is the LEC people just 24/7 push the meme of like LCS is pure trash. It's like they don't know how to play all styles of the game, and yes, they're not very good at like playing at 1-3-1, but that doesn't mean they're all trash. Like I'm definitely not going to hear you tell me that Cloud9 and Team Liquid are garbage and like fucking Splice would beat them. They wouldn't. So let's be real. So, but at the same time, that's why the timing's so bad for this episode, because I've been trying to make it like, well, you know, maybe it's just a different style, and you know, some of the teams are just pretty good late, so maybe they're just playing conservatively. This week, I hate the term throw, right? But this week, if I don't call it a throw, what else do I call half these games? Like, what else could you call? I don't know, like intentionally suboptimal play. Amnesia barons. I don't know what you'd call it, because as we get into it, there's a lot of the theme of some of these games is like one team has a lead where they're almost certainly going to win, and then they just like do three bad things in a row and lose the whole game. It's like when that happens, if you're the losing team, you almost don't even feel like good getting back. And it's like we actually didn't even do that. They just kept like just handing us a win, and we're like, cheers, I guess we'll take it.
Yeah, you're gonna feel shit after that. But I also feel like the fact that makes it even worse is that it's almost the end of the regular season in spring.
Yes.
Like this is shit you expect week 1,
Yes.
week 2, week 3, and you're like, okay, maybe they can get it together and like actually start playing like a team. But here, like I gotta say, like watching a lot of 100 Thieves games this week,
God.
you were just like, man, I think they got this one.
Yes.
Somebody's got like a 4,000k gold lead. It's like, oh, what? And they never play around him. And there seems like there's communication issues left and right. It's just getting utterly ridiculous at this point.
Let's talk about that then. Let's talk about 100 Thieves, because as he alluded to there, I'll give them credit, Loco. This actually looked amazingly. I don't know what they did. This looked like a different 100 Thieves. I mean, it can't just be replaced in the mid lane. The mid lane was all right. You know, he wasn't like popping off or anything. But like, first of all, Afromu was actually playing like old Afromu for a while. They were getting stuff going. I almost started to believe, you know, keyword almost. When teams are that bad, Loco, you're not going to fool me twice, mate. You know, you got me the first time when you made the roster. You're not going to get it again. You know, this time you got to like win LCS before I believe. So come on then, let's talk about this game that they absolutely not should have won. Let's just say they very much could have won. There you go.
The one versus TSM.
Yes.
So whenever I look at a team that's dysfunctional, I know a lot of time fans will just go straight to blaming coaches because they don't want to blame the players because they're probably the fan of the players. Oh, our players are good and then they're bad, so it must be the coach. It must be Prolly. And I never want to take that point of view because I think a really good lesson is when you don't have a kid and you see like a mom yelling at a kid in a supermarket, you're like,
good analogy.
What the fuck? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, why would you yell at your kid in a supermarket? And then when you have a kid or you babysat kids and you see a mom yelling at a kid, you think, holy shit, that poor woman, what did that child do to her? And
yeah. I believe that was actually like a Louis C.K. bit or something, but whatever. You delivered it well. You did it pretty good job. Look, listen, mate, I know everything that you could ever watch. I memorize it all. So if you ever try that again, I'll call you out again. So maybe George Carlin next time.
what the fuck?
Holy shit!
Wow.
That was literally a bit from a stand-up comedy set. I'll find it later if you want.
Stop! I'll admit it's 100% a bit, but it's a great analogy. Why do you have
No, listen.
Oh my god, you ruined it. You ruined it.
Listen,
you ruined
the
it.
analogy was great. You delivered it great. All you had to do at the end, after the effect, was just say, by the way, that was like some of that stuff comedian said, but I thought it was fitting.
Right.
The problem is at the end, you got too greedy. You were like 100 Thieves. You thought like, oh, I'm already winning. I just get all the credit. It's like, no, it can backfire, you know.
All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to count to 3 and we're going to all laugh and the editor's going to cut all that part and then go to
Right,
laugh.
go on then. There we go.
3, 2, 1.
That was a very original joke.
Oh, thank you. All right. Anyways, so yeah, I think I don't want to look at
funny if you
everything.
just leave it like that, by the way. It'd be funny if you just leave it like that. I think so, yeah. Because then it just looks even stupider because everyone's going to be like, the editor didn't edit it. Yeah. Just leave it like that, dude. Leave it like that.
Yeah. I really want to get down to what the core of 100 Thieves problem is, and I want to say it's roster building. I think roster building is where they failed hardest more so than anything. Huhi and Anda, they weren't going to work well together. The communication problem, and Huhi, in hindsight, just was not going to work together for this team. I think there was a lot of doubts and a lot of things that could be hopeful for, like Afro and Huhi were friends. They've been good together last time they played. Who he had to play with Rainover and Darshan last split, so he wasn't gonna look good. Like no way. Like last split, Hu He is the actual Hu He we're gonna get, but that was the truth. Last split, Hu He on CLG was the actual Hu He.
Turns out he was part of the problem as well.
Yeah. And on the regressed, so they have a incredibly weak mid and jungle, and they don't have good communication between jungle and top, and also Aframu regressed a bit. So even though Bang was a great pickup, Bang never got to shine. So what they invested their dollars into and what they bet their eggs on never happened. Like Bang carrying the team, there were just way too many problems. So yeah, I think if we go back, if we really have to pinpoint a problem, I would say roster building, and the people that were made like the roster choices has to take blame. Of course, there's some blame for players, there's some blame for coaches, but the way this roster was built, I think was a core problem that we are seeing.
Do you really think that Onda is like that much of a problem? Because I think he played well in the TSM game. I don't think he played too well in the Cloud9 game, because jungle difference is a big deal when it comes to like playing against Svenskeren or Smithy. So that usually stands out, right? I think they perform better against almost every jungler. So I don't fault him too much for that game, but I don't think he's like a huge problem.
So, well, I don't think Onda's ever going to be a long-lasting piece for them, and Onda's biggest weakness is he's not communicative, and as a jungler that's almost a death sentence, because if you don't talk as a jungler and you don't tell your team, hey, this is what I want to be doing, this is how I want to play early game, hey, I'm coming to game, then you're going to have bad synergy. That's why I think 100 Thieves had bad mid and jungle synergy. Well, one, because they were never getting leads on their own, and that's why they have like terrible top lane synergy. So I think they want to keep Someday long term, and Someday has been a bright spot for them. And you need to import mid and top lane. Maybe they'll let go of Someday because they have Fake God, who's like been really good in Academy, and that's their long term plan. I have no idea. It's just at their current iteration of the roster, with Someday staying long term, I would imagine, and he's their best piece, Someday and Bang. Onda's never gonna work with this team. So that's on this team, I think Onda's always gonna be bad. Do I think Onda could play on TSM? I actually think TSM's one of the teams that he could play on, because Bjergsen's someone that's very vocal, and he always tells the jungle, hey, this is what I want, this is what I want. Unless he plays with that kind of mid, he's never going to really play well.
God. Okay. I think like the Huhi thing with Soligo coming in, I think is fine, right? I think Soligo actually showed like a pretty good showing. I think 100 Thieves, like you can call me like fucking crazy. I definitely think like the team became a little bit dismayed. Like I think 4 different people threw in one of their games where they had a lead, and it's just back to back to back. Like everybody's at fault, but Afro moves are going to stick out because those ones were egregious. But I feel like this team can actually still make playoffs based on. No, I mean you'll laugh, but I think they have the most like doable schedule. They could go 4-0. Depending on if they get their shit together, because they played this last week and they had gold advantages in both their games. If they go 4-0, they could get in at 6th place, just barely. Like
I'm so confused if he's trolling right now, because here's the thing that I don't understand. No, here's the question, Zirene. Right, the problem is it's not if they win the games. Like, don't some of the other teams play each other? So like inevitably some of them have to win the games. So is there actually, like, they're so far behind, can they even get in? I don't. Is that even possible?
Wait,
like, I'm sure it's mathematically, but like it'd have to be pretty. Wouldn't everyone else have to win a certain set of games as well, completely separate though?
Because everybody's pretty close.
So. Let me tackle you both ways, mathematically and also like as an analyst, and then give us your take. So mathematically, like I don't think they can make it through as 8 and 10, even if they win all their games. Like usually the lowest that you can make it through is 9 and 9. So they would have to get a tiebreaker. It would have to be they win all 4 of their games and they win a bonus one and a tiebreaker. So they would have to go 5 and 0. So that's one thing. And 2, yes, they did look better, but Zirene, like this team has been throwing Leaf the entire split. I don't think suddenly putting in Soligo is going to fix this team throwing Leaf the entire split. So mathematically, I think it's going to be hard. And also, don't expect them to fix their problems all of a sudden.
Then who's getting in 6th?
It's good. FlyQuest, Golden Guardians, and then Optic, in my opinion.
Yeah, so Optic is the other one. They play CLG, C9, Golden Guardians, 100 Thieves. So if they beat CLG, 100 Thieves, then that's doable. But if they lose to C9, Golden Guardians, beat CLG, and they lose to 100 Thieves, like 100 Thieves can slip in. So they have they're playing 2 of those teams that are in playoffs, and then 2 of the teams that are at the bottom.
That makes sense. The problem then is what happens with Clutch, though. Clutch splits. TL.
Clutch
TS.
has a.
Oh, they've got a really
They're
hard game.
fucked.
You're right.
Clutch actually,
they're done.
they're done. They play the top 3 teams. They're fucked. Let me find the schedule here for like 100 Thieves schedule is
It's the weakest.
They play Fox, CLG, Optic, and FlyQuest. If they go 4-0, like there's a very good chance that they can make playoffs because they're playing the teams right around them in the standings. So like I think there is a possibility that if 100 Thieves play like they did this week, but they close games out, then they can make playoffs. But
the problem is I've seen them just lose to too many bad teams. Like they're going to lose one surely.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's true. Where like they can drop the ball, all they have to do is drop it one time, and then it's over for them. But
yes.
But I mean, there's so many teams at the bottom right now. Like we just said, like Clutch, I don't think they're making it. Fox, no, and then it's like CLG, 100 Thieves, like Optic. CLG looks awful. So I feel like my bottom 3 are like Fox, CLG, and then Clutch, and then 100 Thieves is 7th.
Schedule is impossible though.
Yeah.
Like, bear in mind that one game ahead of 100 Thieves. That's going to be an interesting race there, I guess.
Yeah.
The real problem is, like, regardless, like you were saying about Optic, I don't even think it's the fact that it's the top teams. Like, it's just so hard to ever predict when Optic wins a game.
Yeah.
Like, half the time at the moment, it's just because Crown goes mental.
Yeah, Crown's actually fucking
and then
good.
And he also, actually, let's get into Optic. Because here's the thing. Okay, first of all, bearing in mind, in the off-season, I'm not exaggerating, I would have picked Crown to Optic as one of the worst roster moves of the off-season.
Sure.
Because not only was he a player I didn't expect to be good, but secondly, it made no sense to the team they put him in. In fact, I still kind of think it doesn't make that much sense. Like, I think it's one where it's like, I'm not sure why you would buy a player like that if you've got this squad. But then the other part that I want to add to that is, I don't understand the logic of why they change in and out the junglers. Like, I thought initially it would be like Koreans do, like, well, I want to play this style of jungle this time and then next time. But like, for example, in the game they played with Dardoch, they put him on Sejuani. Like, that's the Meteos champion. Like, why is that? Like, that's one of those examples of like, if you're going to put the player in, like, yes, obviously you don't want to make the draft too predictable, but
yeah,
what's really the point of then drafting like the Meteos type champion for him?
I think Optic is trying to figure out what jungler they want to use for playoffs and what jungler gives them better cohesion. Meteos and Dardoch are both really good, but they're both also really different. And the whole, like, we're going to play this champion, so we're going to put this player in, and we're going to play this champion, so we're going to put this player in, is really hard to do. Because you have to set your draft up before, and, like, they know which player is coming in, so they can band out those champions if they have those specialties. Like, Dardoch had a specialty with the J swap, or where he played Jace jungle. They're never going to get that thing again when they put Dardoch in. So, yeah, I don't think it's for, like, champion-specific reasons. I think it's playoffs are coming closer. So, one, they want to figure out who to use for playoffs, and two, they want to make playoffs badly. So, if they feel like Dardoch gives them the best shot, they'll put in Dardoch. If they feel like Meteos gives them the best shot, they'll put in Meteos.
Because what I had heard was they like to play whoever they think is either more familiar with the enemy team or can play better against them, right? It was the whole like, they're in, like, Dardoch is intimately familiar with these players. Meteos used to play with these guys, so it's kind of like you would play them against who, you know, they normally had played against or played alongside in the past. Like, I don't completely buy that, but I think it's something that is to be considered, right?
You know, when there's like problems in going on, like with a group of friends, like you just tell people, oh, we're doing this for this reason, but instead it's for like other bullshit reasons. Don't you think it's the team, it's Optic bullshitting you? It's Optic trying to figure out who the better jungler is, and them saying, oh, because Dardoch's more familiar with Echo Fox because he's played under the Echo Fox org. We're gonna put in
the
Dardoch.
Shenanigans.
Yeah,
that's
you want to misdirect us.
Yeah, that's the bullshit they feed you.
I mean, because we honestly, as a team owner, you could be like, well, they don't need to know, right? I don't have to fucking tell them. They don't need to know. And if I tell them the reason, people are going to gossip about it. And then it could be this big fucking thing that mentally impacts my players. So I'm just going to feed them this because it seems like a logically like reasonable explanation. So I understand that. It does throw some like healthy skepticism into the equation.
Thing is, though, like I say, I want to get your take on that. Like, the problem is, like, in isolation as a mid laner, I think Crown's performed way above expectations.
Yeah.
Like, he looks like the old Crown, like the one that used to be like the best player on fucking Samsung. But the thing is, that's what makes me so down on Optic. It's like, with all the games I've seen that guy pop off, with all the games I've seen him have a great lane, with all the teams I've seen him like solo kill people, the team can barely win games. It's like, he should actually be on a top team. I feel bad for the guy.
Didn't they like blast somebody last week though? They blasted a team. Echo. Okay, never mind. It's Echo Fox. Never mind. Okay, so
Exactly.
yeah.
That's like warm-up mode. Yeah. That was like playing in like the sandbox. Like, I've got that down with the this LeBlanc's pretty good or whatever.
Oh no, man. Yeah, I think the thing with Optic that I think they look best when Dokla is literally holding somebody down who's better than him. It's almost like, the wide receiver that's shitty on your team needs to be covered by the best guy on their team, or like the second best guy on their team. Right. You're just like, just chase me around, man. Take him away from where the ball's actually going to go. Sure. Just like, yeah. Just run, Dokla, run down the lane. Just don't come over here. Don't come over here. Go play your split pusher, just go over there. And I think that actually works for them because they're such a disjointed unit of like 4-1. It actually works for them when they do 4-1. It just works poorly for them when Dokla shows up or he goes too far and they tried to like save him underneath tier 2 turrets where like everybody tried to collapse. So I feel like just stay as far away from fucking Dokla as you can, because if he keeps somebody who's better than him occupied, you're winning the game.
Also, ironically, what their recruitment strategy should have been during the off-season.
Stay far away from Dokla. Oh.
And here's the thing. Obviously, I can't tell in isolation if he's actually like a good player on his own or whatever. But all I can say is in this team, he doesn't fit at all. That's the most polite way to say it. I don't know why I'm doing polite shit now. He's just garbage. There you go. Take that as you will. Is it too harsh?
Well, I'm not sure if Dokla is ever going to develop in this kind of environment, because it's this really shitty environment for like a player to be in. Also, like, you're on the team, you're getting scapegoated 24/7. Your team doesn't have good synergy. Your team's always losing, so like you must feel fucking miserable. It's like being on the old like P1 or Coast when they were losing all the time. Like, you get shit on in LCS, you get shit on in scrims, you feel terrible about yourself. Reddit shits on you.
I'll just say this counterpoint. Dokla has been on a lot of losing teams. You see the thread that I'm sort of weaving there? So I agree, it probably sucks being on a losing team where it's not going that well. I'm sure that's what his fucking teammates think every season they're with him. Like, fucking hell, get a guy in here.
Like, Froggen's been on a lot of losing teams, though, too.
Tell you what, he doesn't look shit. Looks fucking amazing when he gets to those team fights, homie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it's not just the win rate.
Froggen
right?
can be on a 7th place team and still be carrying all the team
a lot.
That's pretty legit. Yeah. It's like, listen, obviously you're never going to be called the best if you do that. You can't. But he's been pretty legit on bad teams, to be fair.
Yeah, but like Dokla, like you're saying we're scapegoating him, but when I watch and they're playing to the bottom side and they're doing really well, and he dies like 3 times. They're
the ones doing it, not us.
He's the sacrificial goat. It's a different type at this point. Like, he's top lane. He's like 0-3 when they counterpicked, I think, Aurelia into, was it Vladimir or something like that? And I'm just sitting there going, he's playing so far up, trying to 1v1 when his jungler isn't even on that side. Like, I don't know. He's trying too hard to get advantages for his team when they don't need him to do that.
It's NA player style. It's in NA solo queue. You have to, you learn to carry idiots. You don't learn to get carried. You don't learn to contribute to the team. You learn to achieve and carry idiots. So it's a habit that you need to break by playing in competitive setting and having a coach or a teammate yell at you, because you're taught the wrong things. As like, who is Dokla? So he went from playing in solo queue to playing in like Academy Challenger and then playing in LCS. Like, he hasn't had the good experience of playing with other veterans and playing with like playing under a good coach to actually learn good habits. So
all right, go on then. I'll hold you to this. You have to have some skin in the game if you say that. Okay, which LCS team should he join?
Should he join? I think Dokla.
Which team would be better for having Dokla on right now?
I think if you're a player like Dokla, where you're struggling with bottom tier teams, instead of keep getting recycled on bottom tier teams and never having a great experience under a good org,
come on.
I think you should go play an academy for a good org, a team that takes academy pretty seriously. I think Dokla joining like C9 and being under a C9 coaching system in academy for a bit is way better for him than constantly like recycling between lower tier LCS teams.
Okay.
I think that's one of the only ways you can really change your outlook on the game and be under a better coaching system, be under a better organization.
All right, here's the thing. We've started the episode with some of the not very interesting teams. So let's just jump straight into the spice. So all I'm going to say is this, Loco. I'll give you credit, right? I in the past, because of all the episodes we've had with you and LS, where you're just arguing all the time and no one will give a fucking inch in the argument, which actually you need to do to facilitate a discussion. I actually did think you were going to be super stubborn, right? But I have noticed over time, mate, GGS is fucking grinding you down. They're grinding you down, homie. And that mid lane is grinding you down too, isn't he? Because here's the thing. I will say there's a classic Jay-Z line, right, that says like moral victories are for minor league coaches, because the idea is if you're actual proper team, you don't go, well, we lost guys, but you know what, we were close to winning. That's sort of a victory. It isn't. But I will say this, considering GGS already has a pretty good record, like after the first few weeks, they've been winning lots of games. Dude, look at the games they lose.
Yeah.
They're losing games that like they're almost beating. They did beat TSM. They almost beat C9. They could this time have beaten Team Liquid. Like,
well, they almost beat them last time too with the Anivia, right?
Yeah.
They have winnable games. When I watch that shit, it's like the T1. It's like this is actually fucking winnable for them.
Yes.
Ugh.
Well,
I'll tell you one thing though. Are you ready, Loco? Are you ready for some flair? This is how you must know fucking Froggen's a good mid laner. He's doing all this shit with no bot lane. Ole dies all day long and deftly has had, I think, like 2 or 3 games in the last few weeks where he just walks into the middle of team fights. Like this one where he was on Tristana and they caught him with that brush. Why would he literally let the Kennen jump onto him? Has he ever played AD carry? You know when you're trying to chase a Tristana through a team fight? That's a nightmare. That's like trying to, you know that thing in like fucking boarding schools or whatever, where like people are like running through the middle and like everyone hits them, like initiate them or whatever. That's what's supposed to happen to the Kennen. Impact made it look like he was the one who was like in advantage scenario. That's so insane.
Yeah,
I've seen this guy do it on like Draven, Justana. He's just blown so many games.
Yeah.
If he ulted Kennen away there, that would have actually saved the team fight.
He should have even stayed back.
I think he even had flash.
Yeah, he had flash.
He did.
He had flash.
AD carry players need to like bait cooldowns appropriately.
It's like, has he never heard of kiting? You go backwards when they go forwards. You don't go like at one point, dude. Even when
kites fly into trees, right? Just
exactly. Well, no, listen, mate. This guy's as good at kiting as fucking Charlie Brown. Straight fire reference for anyone who's ever read it. That's a straight fire reference.
That's actually fucking great.
It is pretty good. Because there's the thing, Loco. Even after Impact comes in on him, he just stays stood next to him, firing at him like point blank. He thinks like Tristana's a melee champion or something. You know the range on that motherfucker. What are you doing?
Yeah, let's start with the Froggen point.
Okay.
Credit where credit is due. Froggen has actually been a really good mid. I think Froggen is probably top 4, arguably top 5 or top 4. It's Bjergsen, Jensen, Niski, and then Froggen or Crown. And then you can switch Froggen or Crown order, but I think that's the top 5 mid laners.
Sure.
So yeah, credit where credit is due. He's not just been a control mage player either. He's added LeBlanc back to his fold. They're playing a lot of things.
Yep.
Still with Karthus pocket pick. It's just,
dude, did you see how he outlaned the fuck out of Jensen in this game? He was up like 30 CS on Karthus versus LeBlanc.
Yeah, they had really good game. Like I talked to Froggen afterwards, and he was like, "That game is so free. Like we scale. Why are we?" They had Tristana. They had Tristana, Vladimir, Karthus. Yeah. Why are you fighting with these?
Remember as well, Zirene,
need to scale.
The other thing is they had like 2 Ocean Drakes. Like, Team Liquid had a 1-3-1 comp. It's not even Team Liquid. Like, normally Team Liquid, would have the team fight. No, they had a 1-3-1 comp that they couldn't activate, except these guys just decided to initiate a bunch of fights. And then, as usual, this is going to be a theme as well in this episode, by the way. In 2019, I feel like I'm in season 3 now, people are still doing Barons when ahead that are unnecessary with no vision and dying. Like, what is this? Am I in season 9? Yeah. Is this season 9?
Dude,
please don't do that.
Guardians have made such fundamental mistakes for such a long time, and their players between Ole, Deathly, and Contracts, they have good days and they have bad days.
They have a lot of bad, yeah.
And on their bad days, they look so fucking bad. Like, Contracts looked like the worst jungler like a week ago, and now on his good day, he actually outjungled Xmithie.
He looks good, yeah.
There's no consistency coming from these 3 players, and I think it's hurting them so much. Like, we talk about the throw, like in the near Dragon for Golden Guardians. There was a bigger throw in mid lane where
the mid turret.
Yeah,
when they just were blind trying to hit the mid turret, and they got and what's his name? Core JJ just did the Tom ult behind him.
But Froggen's not even there. He's doing fucking blue buff. Like he's not there. Somebody needs to call that shit. Like stop.
Also, why aren't you setting up the fights? Like you have a Jarvan and a Braum and Tristana and Karthus. You can set up fights. You can force them to come into you, and it's much easier that way. This team blows my mind sometimes. They're so good and so bad at the same time, and they're flip-flop back and forth. Here's the thing.
I won't like I said, I actually hate loaded terminology like, oh, they deserved to win or they should have won, because it's like, who the fuck knows what that means? Like, you're gonna, in the end, I think it all evens out. You probably lose a bunch of games you should win, you probably win. So for me, I would just say this: they're like this far from actually being like the fourth best team for real, like joining TSM and the rest. Like I said, they've almost beat them all. But the problem is, when you are that far away from winning all those games, there's also a reason. And if you look at it, like, initially they were just only a late game team. That's all they could do. Well, like we speculated, that just means that everything's gone to shit, and that's the band-aid for the while. So they did that for a while. Then some of the games they almost won was where they were like trying early game stuff, but they blew it sometimes. This is like, they've got early down, they've got late down. Problem is, there's something in the middle of those, isn't there, Loco? If you could skip straight from the laning phase to the late game team fight, they'd be brilliant.
Yeah, somebody's going ham. Somebody's like going rogue in those fights. I feel like somebody gets too hyphy, and they start calling stuff that they weren't calling before, like trying to press an advantage when I'm like 100% sure that's not Froggen calling for people to go in at that point. Like that just feels like
Froggen
feels like people are
like the antithesis of his
Froggen's
mentality.
away from a team fight. He's telling Deathly, go jump in right now.
Yeah, you got him, man. No, hell no, dude. But yeah, like you said, Thorin, I think they could be number 4. I have them pegged at 5 right now, but I just think that's because every time they go up against FlyQuest in my mind, Santorin's just going to jungle the shit out of contracts, and like that's going to make a huge difference on the map.
I would agree there. By the way, Loco, right? I'm not saying this just to crow, right? Obviously, it could all go bad. Golden Guardians could actually fuck up and not make the playoffs. But when I made that prediction at the beginning of the season, I said they would be the 4th team. Didn't I not say that?
Yeah, top four.
And I laid it all out. Now, I'll say, for example, I actually thought Deathly would be decent. He hasn't been. So, like, some of the details were off there, clearly. You know what? Everyone flamed me. And they all said the biggest straw man ever, which is that I only said they'd be top 4 because of Froggen, which is nonsense, because obviously I never would have predicted those Echo Fox teams to be top 4. Now you're actually seeing some of the stuff they can do.
Yeah.
They're actually a legit team. And obviously, I will say as well, to be fair, a lot of teams have been way worse than we thought they would. So I'll add that in. It's not like as simple as that. Like a lot of lineups, like I thought Under Thieves would be okay.
You got Bang in there.
I thought it'd be 5 and 6. Yeah, but the biggest thing about your prediction that I disagreed with was your prediction had, I guess, FlyQuest down there and 100 Thieves up there, right? I predicted at least like maybe Clutch is going to be better, 100 Thieves is going to be better, and there was one more team that I thought might be better. Oh, CLG would be better. And
how dare you?
Clutch, CLG, and 100 Thieves, they all just decided to exist or play League of Legends, and Golden Guard.
Yeah.
I feel like the top 5 teams are good. Like, they're doing the right things. They're pushing forward. And, like, the bottom 5 teams, there's just, like, such a stark difference between, like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, how are you an organization in LCS? Like, this is, like, some garbage.
The thing is, though, what I said, to be fair, in line with what you just said there, all the teams that are below like 3rd position are all flawed in some way, almost in a fatal manner, hence why they lose. But so I say that as a caveat, because obviously you could say this for any of those teams. If you upgrade a player, they get way better, right? Yeah. But like I said, dude, I know Ole makes a lot of misplays. Like, he does a lot of where he gets caught out. But I do just feel like if they just had even just a slightly better, like I made the example last episode, if they just had Cody Sun, I think they'd win loads of these games, mate. I think they'd legit be good.
You want to replace Deathly before you replace Ole?
Mate, I've at least seen Ole be good. Deathly's hype was like he was on a really bad team, and therefore if he just looked okay, people were like, at least you're not the problem, That was kind of his narrative, The problem with that is, and it's a really dangerous thing, is when you then put that player in a really good team, sometimes you find out, actually he just plays the same as that. Like, that is who he was. He wasn't held down. He's just also one of the okay players. And then, to be fair, I guess in some, I will give credit. I guess he is kind of losing games like sometimes Cody Sun did, making a bit weird misplay. But you said it yourself, look. I've often gone back to this point you made. It's a very shrewd one. I've actually never heard anyone else say it, which is if you are an AD carry, you actually have to be the most responsible player in the team fight. Because if people have invested into your laning phase and they've ganked for you and they've given you gold and you've got items, you can't be killed first. If you are killed first, like the game's over. Like you have literally. So that's the reason why I used to blame Cody Sun when he was in a top team, because he also would just in a random team fight. It's like, dude, we can't win if you're just instantly dead. So like it is. That's like there's other players that can die in team fights. That it's just a small problem. It is unacceptable if you're AD carry, in my opinion. Yeah, like that's why even the other analogy I gave was even if they just had like Apollo would play safe the whole time. He'd stay on the perimeter, auto attack them, let the other guys carry overall in the lanes. They'd win the game. I'm telling you. Yeah, I'm not saying give me a big upgrade. You don't have to give me Doublelift or something,
Yeah, you just want somebody who's consistently reliable, because an AD carry, in my mind, like this shifted over a decent while ago to like mid lane, and then it came back to ADs recently. Is the AD carry player is the most important person in late game team fights, and they are always the easiest person to kill stat wise. So their positioning and the way that they play is way more important than anybody else's, and also relative to their tanks, because they have the least stats. Supports are tankier than them, like mid laners, junglers, everybody has way more stats than them, right? They have the least stats in the game in terms of somebody is on them. So the way they position is their defensive tool, and the way that people peel around them is their defensive tools aren't their own at that point. But it's like you have to be able to take care of yourself and deal damage at the same time. And I feel like that's something where a lot of people don't take care of themselves. They go with reckless abandon into the fight, and they feel like everybody else is just they're like, Jesus, take the wheel. Teammates, protect me. They make it everybody else's responsibility, and they don't take care of themselves.
So, like, AD carry, you want to play aggressive as possible while not dying. So there's like a certain line where it's you're doing the most damage, but when you go past that line, you're dead. So you want to get close to this line as possible without dying. And everyone
if you can't do that. If you can't do that, then stay far away from the line. Don't overshoot it.
I have a similar philosophy with banter.
What?
Oh, you want to get as close to the line as possible without dying. Yeah. Because the last thing you want to do is overshoot that line. I tell you, I've found myself. Where is the line? Holy shit, it's back there. Guys.
Yeah, fun. That's a great point, Zirene. But everyone thinks they're good enough to get close to the line as possible without dying, right?
You know why? I get Doublelift. I know he said this about the meta, but it's true for just generally. People like Uzi I ruin the game for people who are, you know the old joke used to be if someone played something sick in jungle in an LCS game, you go, well, solo queue's ruined for the week. No, at a pro level, Uzi I ruins these guys. Because if you ever watch Uzi I team fight, he has him and Deft have the most unreal dodges, reactive dodges. So they can go closer to that line than anyone else because they can just dodge like a genius. Normal people can't do that. If you're not, and especially that's why I say on this team, especially you got to play safe because you don't need to carry. You've got some pretty good solos, and if you've got a lead, there's no need for you to be in danger. Just play this out safe. Make them chase you, which then allows obviously all your teammates to kill them when they come in. Yeah. This is I'm not saying it obviously in the scenario I wouldn't be thinking as clear as that, but it's just been too many games I've seen this mistake.
Yeah.
Well, what I did want to talk about regarding Deathly is who you replace on Golden Guardians and what do you do going forward. I would get Deathly at least this entire year because he was on a bad team last year, so we can say...
I will say if they started Summer Split today, but they had this team, they could potentially improve. They fixed a lot of things. That's not terrible, I guess.
Well, last year, Deathly couldn't improve in any way due to so much turmoil on the team and them being double 10. So let's give him a free pass there, and then let's go to this year. Spring Split, not that great. And let's see if you actually improve and you're going to get better in the summer. But if you're stagnant for the whole year, then I do think you look at Deathly. But he's on the younger side, and this is his second year of playing pro, so I'm not going to be as harsh on him. But yeah, maybe at the end of the year, you do need to look closely. I would look much more closer at Contracts than Ole, because Contracts has been on C9. He has had good coaching, and he's been so inconsistent still to this day. And it's been 3 years since he's been playing pro in LCS, and Ole's been playing pro much, much longer. Yeah. So from a GM perspective, Contracts and Ole are much more worrying to me than Deathly is.
Dude, bearing in mind Ole is an import player.
Yeah.
This guy better fucking buck it up right now. This guy is in danger for his job. That's an import slot.
Is Sheep right below him in Academy?
That's probably the reason he's got a safe job at the moment. Yeah, I think at the moment, yeah, I agree with you, Zirene. Soft sell there, but yeah, you're right. He's safe at the moment, but not in terms of if they could get a better player, is my point. Right, okay, let's move it to the other side of that equation then. So Team Liquid. Dude, I can't tell if Team Liquid listened to all the flame and they were like, oh, people are flaming us. So we have to try and do one of those things that the Europeans do where you 1-3-1 and you don't wait till 40 minutes. And then they were like, shit. That's actually quite hard to pull off, isn't it? It's actually hard when you don't make the other team into you and kill them all in a team fight. Shit, this is hard, this League of Legends business.
Their 1-3-1's not that bad, and I do think they started doing 1-3-1 because a little bit I do think has to do with pressure our community. It's bullshit to say TL as a team didn't listen to pressure our community, and people keep saying internationally you won't be fine. Internationally you need to be able to play split push. That's one of the reasons, and the other reason is Jace is just becoming way too powerful as a pick and in the draft. You pick Jace early, you can put him mid, you can put him top, you can put him jungle if you need to, you can put him AD carry if you need to, and he'll give you priority and he'll be a split pushing threat. So they felt like we can't just not pick Jace and we can't ban Jace every game, so we have to start first picking it and we have to start being able to play Jace. And Impact is a decent Jace, so that's been their primary split push focus, Impact on Jace.
Yeah, what I've noticed when I watch their split push games is I actually think Xmithy is the best jungler in the entire league at playing around a split pusher early to like set them up. Because I see so many junglers be like, "Oh, they have a winning jungle and losing top lane. I have a winning top lane, losing jungle. I'm gonna start bottom side, make my way around the bottom, etc." And he's like, "I'm playing fucking Sejuani, going red buff top scuttle. Like he's like red buff top scuttle. I need to contest this top scuttle for my Jace." And then that's why, like, even at the beginning when like Svenskeren dove Jensen, Xmithy's there to help him even get the kill when he should be fucking doing his Raptors or doing like any other jungler would have done Raptors or gone to their scuttle. Like they wouldn't have made that exact move up to the top side. And he like did this thing where he got HP off the Raptors and shit. So he's like very prepared to skirmish on top side and making sure that he's set up to make sure that he's giving Jace what he needs. Like the game has become very codependent, but not like a good relationship. It's not a healthy codependency of like I guess codependency is bad in the first place, but it's not like a 50-50 codependency. It's like this guy is like, it's like when you date a really hot girl and you're like, she's better than me. It's like I give her 60%, she only has to give 40. Like that's what it is in the game. It's like I give you 70% as long as you give me 30, but you have to set other people up for success in that type of situation. Like that is what has to happen in League of Legends now. And if one person isn't doing their part, it falls apart. And that's why we have like, Golden Guardians where it's like, man, these players are really good. But then if there's a weakness, it makes other players look bad. They look even worse. The person who's like not doing their job. But the game is just so connected now, which means that it's really hard to actually find those people who are like superstars unless they are just godly players, right? Like godly individual players. So I think that that's what we're seeing on TL is like they understand the codependency of League of Legends.
Xmithy is so diligent about it. I think that's a great example, like codependency and like dating someone at the start. When you date a really hot girl at the start, like you buy a new camera, make sure you take much photos as possible. You take her to the nice restaurants, like you treat her well. But as like the days go on,
is she ever gonna take you out, Loco? When's she taking you out?
Exactly. Loco takes some of the Arby's. Would you like the steak? You want waffle fries with that?
As the days go on, it's a hard toll on your wallet. You don't think it's worth it anymore. She's getting crazier and crazier, and you get
bored of playing GTA. Get that ass.
Yeah, and GTA.
Everyone gets bored of it eventually, mate. Yeah, it's got to be more than that in life.
And then, like later down the line, like you're just going through the motions, and you're not as diligent about ganking top up or providing for your top lane.
This isn't again about the girlfriend.
Yeah, it's going back.
The whole thing becomes
it's how it moves back.
Tell us when you go into League of Legends.
That's why Xmithy is so good as a jungler. He always knows where to be and do the right things. Like no matter like how long he's been in like that atmosphere, and he's able to adapt. Like they were a very very bot oriented team. Now they can play towards top very well. Like as Xmithy or as Zirene said, I think comparatively TSM has been exclusively a top lane team, and they are still really bad at top lane 2v2. Like where TL was a team fight team, they switched it instantly good. Yes. Good jungler, worth their money.
My analogy would be this: like Xmithy is like the perfect butler in a movie where they're in like some stately mansion, because the really sick butlers where you're like, Jeeves and another thing, and he's like, yes sir, and he like hands you the thing. He already knew. What the fuck? How did he? And I've already prepared the car for it. It's like, oh, holy shit, this guy knows everything. Nice.
Yeah, that's anticipating the needs of others is what Xmithy does. Is he anticipates what people are gonna need. And a lot of junglers are like, just fucking tell me what you need. Like, when do you need me topside? Like, this is what I'm doing. Like, people are like, I'm gonna do Raptors red, and then I'm gonna look for a gank. It's like, no, I need you topside. But Xmithy's like, okay, I can't do my red. Let's go this way and like get up there, because he has an idea of what other people need, so he anticipates their needs. And I think that's what makes him different right now.
Yes. See, Loco, if you'd have had that in your relationships, might have gone a lot better. If you could have just anticipated their needs.
Yeah, it feels worse when she has to ask for it, man. It's like she loves it. When, like, it'd be really great if you got me roses, and then you get them, and you're just like, I have to do this. But if you got her roses, and then she's like, thank God you got me roses. Oh, I love this. Boom. Thank God this guy ganked top lane. See, it feels worse to ask for the gank and then get it.
Of course.
But if you gank them when you know that they want it.
That's what good junglers do. They really know the lane matchup really well, and they also know the player really well too. So they know when you're going to play overly aggressive and you really want to kill the guy, and they'll skip a camp to be up there, even though that's not the right thing to do. If you ask good junglers and you ask them about lane matchups, they can tell you in detail, hey, this is how this lane matchup works. I need to be there at this level, and Xmithy is great at that.
Well, also you need to know what the other jungler is going to do too, right? I've seen a lot of like counter ganks top lane where somebody's like, "You're going to get your ass ganked right now," and they're waiting by the turret for a lane gank. Like that, I think that some junglers have gotten better at that.
Right. So obviously, one of the things you just brought up there, Loco, is because the problem is there's not that much to talk about with Team Liquid. Like they win every game and they still win now, even when things go wrong in one game. So if we talk about Cloud9, because by the way, all the top teams get flame in this episode. In every other episode, it was great. You know, we were always saying like, those guys are really good. Let's flame all the other 7 teams. In this episode, each of the top teams is going to get some flame. So Cloud9, right? This is a team where, dude, I started to believe like this could be a fucking amazing game when they play Team Liquid. They've got the early game. They could make shit happen. Like this could. No, because actually, I'll give credit to Team Liquid. Team Liquid outdid Cloud9 at what they want to do. Cloud9 could do nothing in this game.
I think Spence Garen said it in my interview where he said we gave them too much.
What do you say? Jungle difference?
He said better jungler wins Kappa. That's what he said. No.
And he actually meant on Cloud9. That would be the banter line, wouldn't it?
He said we gave them too much respect. If it was any other team, we would have just walked in there and actually taken the fights. And I do think they played a little scared, and I think they did get into their heads a little, which is super weird for me because Cloud9's the really good team about just do our thing. Like, we don't care who whoever says. Like, they're always that team, and they weren't that team. Like, so a lot of times, difference of Spence Garen on TSM and C9 was Spence Garen does his thing. He's aggressive, he's proactive, and people follow up with him. Where on TSM, there was a lot of conditions, and they wanted to play with priority, and they wanted to play more towards lane. So a lot of times Spence Garen would be aggressive, and people wouldn't follow up. I felt like I was watching TSM Spence Garen in terms of like the team dynamic, where Spence Garen wanted to go in on things, where Spence Garen wanted to set up for things, and everyone's a little bit scared, a little bit hesitant, and not really going in with them. So really weird to see Cloud9 play different than they normally do. Hopefully in a best of 5 series, this will be kind of remedied by playing Blabber and like being able to switch out.
Yes, because at the moment, like, dude, like the problem is this match was supposed to set up the playoffs. We were supposed to have a sick game. Hopefully, like I would have said, the ideal storyline is Cloud9 like narrowly win an epic game, and then you, because obviously they're not going to get top seed. So then you go into the playoffs. It's like awesome. Now we've got like if they can meet in the final, we got the sick matchup. But then the way they lost this game is like that kind of kills my hype. Like Team Liquid at this point in time, they were like fucking Shang Tsung because they're the final boss, just taking your soul, taking what you do and taking it from you. All my references, by the way, are from the 90s, so I haven't watched anything. Been watching video games for the last 20 years. You know,
Go ahead, Zirene. You were gonna say something.
When he said that he felt like they respected them too much, I think he means like he thinks everybody else respected them too much, right? Like he's level 2 tower diving Jensen as Aatrox. Like I don't think he was respecting them. I think he might have been playing what he saw as like the appropriate level, but wasn't in tune with what his team wanted to do. Like I'm watching his ass. Like there's one fight where there's 3 fights where I look at Zeyzal and go, what the fuck is happening? But in this one in particular, it's like Sven Skaren flash cues off Jensen's Banshee's Veil as Zeyzal goes the opposite direction to help Sneaky, who's completely fine. And I'm like, he actually could have gone on a flashless Jensen. There's so many opportunities for Zeyzal to, instead of defending Sneaky, go in and actually make the fight be turned in their favor. Like there were about 3 fights where I saw Zeyzal do that, and I actually pinned a lot of the game on what he did as the initiator, and Sven Skaren in the early parts of the game. But I think that Zeyzal was the one who was playing the most scared or the most defensive in a position where he didn't have to be.
Yeah, because usually the trio of Zeyzal, Licorice, and Sven Skaren sets up the team fight so well for C9, and when it was so weird not seeing them coordinated and see them play like this.
And then there was Licorice, who it looked like every time he made a mistake with his teleport, he just ran it down. Like he was like, he's like, I TP'd down here for you motherfuckers. And he's like, I'm going to do something. And he just runs and tries to get Jensen. He dies for it. And there's like another time where he TP's in and Syndra's in the base and he's flanking. He's like, something's got to happen for this TP. So it looked like Licorice was it felt like Sven Skaren was not respecting them enough. I felt like Zeyzal was respecting them too much, and I felt that Licorice was just losing his fucking mind when people were all over the place. That's kind of what it felt like, is he was like, are we going or are we not going? And he's like, I have to make a commitment at this point. We're going. people are like, well, we're not set up for it. He's like, I already made the choice. It's like executive decision from Licorice. And that's how it felt in that game, is pretty disjointed, and everybody wanted to do something a little bit different in those moments.
Okay. Well, Zirene, I want to ask you something. We can talk about TSM later too, if you guys think TSM can contest TL. I personally don't think TSM can. Do you think in a best of 5, it's going to favor C9 or TL more? And if it's going to favor like whichever team, like why, and what does the other team need to improve on to actually have a good shot?
I think C9 needs to stop being scared of them, because I think what Sven Skaren was alluding to as well is something that Doublelift talked about, where C9 is actually really scary because their scrims are fucking good. Like they beat TL in scrims quite frequently, and it had them actually pretty scared, but they didn't play like that on stage, which a lot of teams, they don't play the same way. But Cloud9 are the team where, they're not on stage. It's like everybody seems to be like firing on all cylinders, and the codependency, like I was talking about, is like people are giving the people the right amount of resources, right? Sven Skaren's hooking up like Licorice, and Niski is also contributing to other lanes too. But they were not doing that here. So I feel like in a best of 5, I still would favor TL, just because consistency is so important to me. And I think they're just higher in the consistency department, where if they lose a game, it's probably off of something that looks fixable in the next one. And I don't think that they would let things affect them emotionally going into the next one afterwards. But of course, Jensen can't win a championship. It's written in the script. So CNAD's got to take it from them.
No, I agree. I kind of agree, because that's the problem for me. It's like, when Cloud9 is good, definitely that team could make a really awesome series against Team Liquid, especially because it's not like they have the one playing style. They have a whole bunch of different ways they can play, lanes they can play through. As I said on past episodes, they can be really good at fighting from behind, finding the right engagements. There's all these great positives, but that's the problem. They can also be like a bit up and down. Whereas the key thing with Team Liquid is, like, as much as everyone's hating on that style now, be real. Everyone's only hating because they're scared that Team Liquid wins the split easily and gets bodied at MSI by all the teams that
it's fucking Mayweather, right?
Yeah, they're just scared that they're going to get wrecked by all the aggro foreign teams. But it's still more than good enough for NA. Like, that style that they have should be amazing in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because I always say this. It's the same, by the way, in Counter-Strike. Like, whenever you get to the point of the game that's like all the money's on the line, it's like tension, it's like really... That's when people don't want to make plays. That's when the team that, like, for example, just has the scaling comp and can let team fight. The game's in their hand. They've got a little clock going. Time's running out. You got to do something. And the other team the whole time's thinking, like, should I set this up? Oh, I don't want to blow the game though. Oh, maybe I shouldn't now. As soon as you start thinking like that, it's like you say there, I could believe in scrims with none of that. Well, in scrims, you do it. Yeah, let's go for it. You go for everything that works. And I bet it looks sick. But the problem is, you've got to be able to do that on stage. And that's it. If you're going to play C9 style versus Team Lit, it takes a lot more balls. Yeah. You've got to really go for it.
I think... Go ahead, Larry.
I was going to say, it just reminds me of, like, Manny Pacquiao for, like, Cloud9, and then, like, Floyd Mayweather for Team Liquid. Like, people, like, fucking hate Mayweather because he wins, because he plays it the way that he wants to, and it's very efficient. It's not interesting for people who don't understand, like, the highest level. But, like, when you do, you're just like, wow, this guy's, like, fucking untouchable. Like, how do you actually beat this guy? It's almost like a stat check, right? In order to even go against him, you have to have the right stats to do so. But even then, you got to do something different than him to beat him.
The same thing actually took place in MMA back in the day when George St. Pierre was like the best welterweight, because what basically used to happen was he used to win every title fight by decision, but he would win them by a massive margin of decision, but without ever like really damaging the opponent. What he would do is he would just shut down all your best weapons, and then you couldn't do anything, and he just won. Now, people used to complain, like, and even though he was actually a big draw because he's from Canada, people used to complain like, it's boring or whatever. Like, I used to say the same thing as what you're saying here. Yeah. It's like, I know what you mean. In terms of aesthetic action, like flashy stuff, it is boring. But what isn't boring is that he's taking like some godlike striker and shutting his striking game completely down. Like, you can't do that. Like, other people can't do that.
I can't understand that from my couch. Like, that's not cool to look at. Like, I want the bells and whistles, you know? Like I said, my monkey brain needs some stimulation of team fighting. I need people to go crazy.
Well, so to close the point on C9 versus TL, I think C9 needs to... Licorice needs to be better than Impact. That is like a key point for C9. Like, Licorice needs to beat Impact in lane and also be a better split pusher. That's super important for C9 to have a chance versus TL.
Sure.
How does Impact keep having it happen? He gets fucking solo killed, and then he like TP's back, and the person stayed, and then they die. Yeah. And like he should have lost like 2 games off of being a dumbass on Jace, and it like doesn't stick because he gets a counter kill from TPing back. I'm like. It feels so bad because then I'm just like, we stand no chance. Like, if this was any international team, Europe, Korea, like China, I don't give a fuck who it is. Like, fucking throw like a LMS in there. Like, if your Jace top lane dies,
Early
then
game, yeah.
they're just going to be like, oh, let's actually reverse the way the map is right now. We get to play the top, starve your Jace, and we have like a pushing bottom lane or whatever they drafted because hopefully you don't fuck up a draft entirely, right? So that's something that just blows my mind how the NA Jace gets back in the game off that. It's because NA doesn't even know how to play against Jace now.
Impact Jace is the only one that gets back in. I think any other team, they don't have enough backbone or they don't have enough support structure to make sure the Jace stays in the team. It's because it's TL and NA. But yeah, as you said, both times Impact played Jace was once against Licorice, where he got killed with jungle for Poppy Aatrox. And then the other time was versus Darshan, like the one where Darshan killed him and Darshan started yelling. Like, his Jace hasn't been the cleanest, but...
Well, I think he's rescued. I think he gets rescued by Xmithy in both of those.
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
The C9 one for sure. The C9 one for sure. Oh, yeah. C9 one for sure, and CLG one also. It's where Xmithy hops the wall and then gets the kill with him.
Like that's what I mean. But I'm like, Xmithy is actually the best jungler at playing around a carry top laner right now. Even if his carry top laner isn't doing his job, like he knows what he's supposed to do, winning or losing jungle matchup. It's crazy to me because he's like, fuck my camps. Getting to a wolf and like a raptor's not gonna lose me the game if I get those, right? But this will lose me the fucking game if I don't go top lane. So he's all over that, where he understands the intricacies of how everything is interconnected. So he's like, I don't need my camps. Getting those camps isn't going to win it. I need to stop us from losing here. And I think that's very, very intelligent.
Yeah.
Well, it goes against your instinct of I need to farm for me.
Yeah, here's the thing, Loco. You know, you got change the fucking shoulder. Here's the thing, Loco. I'm never going to remember listen, Loco, for some reason, right?
You've said listen like 3 times, and you've never put listen.
I know, I never have. I don't know why. But anyway, listen, Loco. So one of the things is, obviously, you've been getting flamed for the last few weeks because for some reason, Team Liquid fans are incapable of understanding that these two comments aren't mutually exclusive. Team Liquid is winning nearly all the games. Doublelift is not actually going that ham.
He's not.
No, he's not. Like, when we're winning these games, he's just another player. Remember last year, he was the win condition. Like, he had to win the game. That's the whole thing. On the one hand, it's a good thing. Like, he doesn't have to go off. But I've actually been I agree with you. I'm a bit concerned, actually. Like, I actually think if he was playing like he was, I think they'd have no chance to lose. They'd dominate everyone.
I think up until this point, there's only twice in Doublelift's life where the team wasn't based around Doublelift. This roster and the TSM roster with Bjergsen. Other than that, every roster Doublelift has been on has the entire game and the entire game plan has been based around Doublelift. So it's also finding another role and learning to play when the game isn't just based around you. And he did that well when he was on the OG TSM roster with Bjergsen the first year. They did a really great job of sometimes being a mid-centric team and a top-centric team.
I like the way Season 6 is OG now.
Yeah.
Fair enough, keep going.
In that roster, Doublelift did his job well without needing to be a carry fourth. And then on this roster, he's also learning that I don't always need to carry every game. But you've seen his frustration whenever he sees stuff like, oh, this Kai'Sa free farming. If Kai'Sa's fucking free farming, like, shouldn't be allowed to free farm. And then like Core JJ's like, it's okay. Yeah. We're doing well top side. Top side's gonna get ahead more. Like, in fact,
Core JJ has a muzzle on him for sure. He's like, listen, homie, I'll take control. Actually, it's in some senses double up. That is also the other difference you have to point out. Ole was having a lot of problems, and he clearly instantly was like alphaed by Doublelift. This is more like Doublelift, like back in the days when he had Chowster, where it's like the support knows more, so I just have to do everything he says. And obviously, like Core JJ, his map awareness is fucking unreal.
Yeah.
Give that guy like a playmaking support. It's unreal, isn't he?
His Tom Kench, his Gallios are fucking disgusting. Like, I don't think anybody even like. It sounds stupid to be like, yeah, he just pressed R at the right time on the guy. It's like, but he actually understands when to go and like when he should be roaming up before anybody else, or when they should be shoving to make sure that because the other side of the map is pushing into the jungle, that he's ready to make that move. So.
Here's my
he's just a disgusting player, man. He's like my front runner for MVP, of course.
I would say so, yeah.
Same. Here's my devil's advocate. We saw last year in 2018 the old traditional Korean playstyle, the Genji playstyle, fail at Worlds and just get demolished. Like, you can't play that slow anymore, and you can't play that methodical anymore. There lack of information and how strong engages has been and how strong upfront damage has been made it so taking fights first and engaging first matters so much more. Now, I feel like history is going to repeat itself. A core JJ-led macro team is going to fail in international play, and this time it won't be a Korean team, it'll be a North American team going and learning the core JJ, like the slow, methodical Korean macro.
You don't think like they'll be able to keep like another reason, Loco, I assume why they also played 1-3-1 this week is they want to test it out for the playoffs, see if they can do it. This is worth pulling out. If they can integrate that a little bit more, that gives them some depth, you know.
Gun to your head, on anyone on TL, like if you put a gun to their head and be like, your life is on the line, which champion does Impact play? Does he play Jace or does he play Sion?
Of course, yeah.
Like what? If you're not,
Sure.
I don't think there'll ever be a team
that,
where
yeah.
they'll be like, all the chips are on the line. We're gonna play Jace top. I don't think there'll ever be that team.
And by the way, I will actually say this is actually where I think in a way NA was just a bit unlucky, because the problem is it's so hard to remove Impact because he's just like so good and consistent at his level, and he does do so much for the team. Like if you can play from behind, mate, that's like that thing, you know, in the NBA, they say like, as long as you can shoot, you can always have a job in the NBA. Like you don't have to be athletic, you don't have to be able to go around someone, you don't have to pass. If you can just spot up and they throw you the ball and you can shoot at a decent percentage, you'll always have a job. Like if you can play from behind and not need any jungle resources, you can play in the LCS forever, mate. Like that's actually the problem is that's a valuable skill in the LCS. At the moment, if you look at the teams that are going to go to Worlds, the only team that has a vaguely weak top laner is Griffin, actually, with Sword. Mm-hmm. Mate, all the Chinese teams that could come, all of them, have some monster top laners, dude. I'm talking about people that will butcher someone like Impact. It's going to be really bad. Obviously, G2's got Wonder. Like, it's going to be hard to... That's the problem. That matchup is going to be really strained if they go international.
Yeah. Let me legitimately ask you that question. Like, Zirene, as a fan of NA, we're at MSI. It's a tiebreaker game versus Europe, China, Korea. Do you want Impact to play Jace? Are you happy when you see Impact playing Jace or carry?
NA tiebreakers and Jace just like don't say.
I know.
Fuck that shit, dude.
We don't want to see them lose again like that. Just choose on something else.
Like, I don't know what it is. Like maybe it's the fact that they just crumble under pressure in the first place, let alone like the whole Jace thing on top of it. It's just like putting people in the driver's seat. Like you need to give it to like your best players in those high pressure moments. I don't think Impact is that person. I think he's like you said, gun to his head, Sion or Jace. He's gonna say Maokai, and you're like, that's not an option. He's gonna be like Maokai. You're like, that is not an option. He's gonna be like, well, Maokai. Like that's
Trundle.
Even as like TL fans, ask yourself that question. TL's at an MSI tiebreaker. Would you want Impact on Jace? Before you start flaming me, ask yourself that question, and then we can start talking. Would you want Impact on Jace?
And by the way, this ties in as well. That's why the whole Doublelift angle is concerning me a bit. Because if instead it was like, right, you know what, top lane's not that strong. But here's the thing. By the way, I don't care what people say about Doublelift never made it out of the groups at Worlds. I think Doublelift is still one of the best AD carries in the world if he's on his game. Like he's took it a bit easy. I think he's took his foot off the gas pedal, or maybe unfortunately as a byproduct of playing with Core JJ, he's not as aggressive himself. They don't play as in lane dominant or whatever. But like when he's at his peak, that guy absolutely can go. First of all, everyone from Europe he can go head to head with for sure. Some of the Koreans. I know, obviously, Griffin does have a really sick AD carry, but some of the other Korean AD carries aren't that sick at the moment. If you look at the top teams, those are actually some of the weaker positions, Loco. So if he was like the NA Uzi Eye, you could still do this style, I think. But he's going to have to big time step up internationally, big time.
Like, Teddy, Ruler, Def.
That's if they. The problem is though, can any of those teams win Korea? It looks like Griffin at the moment. And I agree. If Teddy goes,
Teddy,
yeah.
Ruler's a far shot, but like
he's definitely not going to MSI. I can tell you that. That part I can tell you already, mate. So
yeah.
Okay, here's the problem. I'll actually give you guys another analogy. Think of every regular season in every region as a gym, okay? But in the NA gym, Doublelift is training there, and you only have 10-pound weights. The maximum weight you can lift is 10 pounds. You can do multiple reps as much as you want. But the
Korea's got that bow flex.
Maximum weight you can do is 10 pounds. You go to Korea, you go to LPL, like it goes up all the way. So once you're good with 10 pounds, like you can up the weight. But in NA, Doublelift can't up the level of competition he's training versus.
He needs steroids. Oh my. What is steroids in the analogy? What would it be? He needs steroids is the answer, you know.
But that's the reality of NA. You're training with these baby weights, and like you're getting really good at like fucking flexing on baby weights. But you go to like international competition and there's these like jacked up Korean and jacked up Chinese dude and you can't fucking compete versus them.
Uzi I comes in looking like fucking Alistair or something, like just rippling veins off his face. And then you go, Doublelift just goes, oh golly, Mr. Core JJ, I don't like the as he's about to pop in the lane.
I guess it works too, because then like Core JJ comes over and Doublelift like almost never bows to anybody, but then he's just like, look at this absolute fucking unit here. Like Core JJ comes in straight from the gym.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes sense.
That's why imports, when they come in NA, like they start slowly, like their muscles start deteriorating because they can't work out.
They get the atrophy.
Yeah, they get the atrophy.
In a way,
that's
they do.
A great example.
Yeah, it's a good analogy.
Because your training environment isn't harsh as it used to be, so you're going to be more chill.
We brought it up on a past episode. We're not going to talk about LCK, obviously, but the best analogy right now is who's my favorite player?
Flame.
Dude, when he was in NA, he was a good player, and certainly if the game was around him, he had the right pick and the jungle help, he could win the game. He could even carry the game. The second he went back to Korea, he's like carrying the games and winning the MVP every time.
Yeah. I think
that doesn't mean like you know, like he was shit, he's good now. No, he's probably quite a similar player. It just shows how different the environment is. And I've no doubt, by the way, probably when he got back to Korea, for his start, if he's competing for a spot, he probably has to go up fucking 100% in practice.
Yeah.
God damn. This analogy just keeps stacking on top of itself. It's like he's got the genetics to have like that great body.
Exactly.
He can get the Adonis belt.
He's
got the
wits
V
now.
going.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly.
But if you're just pounding back hamburgers, you're never going to see that thing. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense in terms of like harsh training environments. Because NA solo queue, everybody talks about how poor it is and how people don't try.
Like the problem is this, like someone like Doublelift obviously has insane ceiling and peak. Like he could be an amazing player. You know what? I'm going to go full LS. I don't even know that much about Dragon Ball Z, but I know enough to make a shit LS type analogy. So here's the problem, right? If you're in Korea, they've got obviously like fucking Goku and Vegeta and like that's like Faker and fucking who else? I don't know at this point in time, like BDD or something. No, the godlike players, so they're just going super hard because they're trying to be like the best ever, literally every game. Over in NA, Doublelift's like Gohan, where like in theory he had a really high peak, but he just kept like going, right, I won that fight, so I'm just going to go off for like half a season, come back, oh, can I get in on this fight? And they're like, you can warm everyone up, but like someone else finishes the fight. It's like, don't I ever get to win? It's like, you gotta love fighting Gohan. Like that's about all I know about that. End of the LS analogy. See, until we can get LS to come on the show, I have to do that shit, guys.
No, don't worry.
Next up, I'm going to have to figure out a Yu-Gi-Oh reference. I haven't even played the game.
Don't worry. We're talking to LS. We're trying to make it happen.
Okay.
I guess it's kind of like this is gonna be another Dragon Ball Z thing. Like fucking Krillin, right? Like
yes.
everybody's like Krillin is shit. Like Krillin isn't like that amazing, but like Krillin's my favorite character.
He's doing his best.
He's a fucking human. Everybody else can fucking fly because they're fucking
People
aliens.
forget that.
I'm like, he's a human. This bald motherfucker's just a human.
I always used to think that. That's the part I always used to think when you do watch the show. It's like, I know they set the story up, and it's obviously predictable. They always start with the weakest person. They build them up to make it hype, right? Because it's like, oh my God, can anyone beat him? But like, as a friend, you're the most, like, literally irresponsible fucking superhuman alien of all time. That you let your fucking human dude just take like shots at like some fucking android or something. Like, oh, he could die. I know no one does in Dragon Ball Z, and you bring them all back. But,
his
like,
skin's not that tough.
I know.
That's the fans.
What is this?
That's the fans that are like clapping TL when TL says we can do well internationally, and fans are like, "Fuck yes, you could go up there, fight them, please,
do your best, Krillin. Like you can beat Cell."
Yeah, exactly.
And they get murdered, and then they're the same people that are going like, "Holy fuck, why did they think they could ever win?"
Of course, yeah.
And he could never do well internationally. I never thought they could win.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, you never really thought they could, but you kind of hoped. Like you're like, maybe.
Yes.
But yeah, we're just the reason somebody else goes Super Saiyan. That's it.
All right, let's move on to TSM. So, I mean, the first question is,
dude, you're getting flamed again.
What?
Because the problem is, like, I agree totally with what you've been saying the last few weeks. Like, the thing with TSM is they've been good enough to separate themselves from the teams below, but they're not quite the Cloud9 TL level. Like, it's just, if you watch them play, like, there's still a clear lot. Like, for example, they make a lot of mistakes. So when you and actually some of the players don't have great synergy together. So I agree with you. I think that's a reasonable thing to say. Remember how bad the lineup was last year. Remember how early on they weren't doing well this split. Like, it would have been totally fair to say that they're like the third best team, but The problem is, all the TSM fans want to believe they can do it Loco. So they're all hard flaming you, mate. They're all like, hey, it doesn't give us any credit.
Oh my god, I love how I'm a TSM dick sucker and a TL dick sucker at like the same time.
Of course.
Like, TSM fans say Loco only likes TL, he fucking hates us now, and TL fans say, oh, Loco's a TSM dick sucker. Oh my god.
Like, just got a big mouth.
At least they can all agree on one thing. Loco. They're confused about who else is in the equation, but they have nailed that one pattern.
Well, here's my thing with TSM. Acadian and Broken Blade, for how much they play around top, still have really shitty synergy. And they're a one-trick pony when it comes to what they like doing. They like yanking it early, and after the first clear, Acadian likes backing, and then going topside, getting double golems, and camping that brush. And people call it so much now. People call where Acadian's going to be so much now, and they have to vary it up. And maybe people stop giving you Sejuani. Like, their draft... kind of lead up is always the same too. Draft Sejuani early, counter pick a top carry in the 5th pick on purple side. So once people figure it out, like, they know how to handle it. And yeah, it's been so problematic for them. And Broken Blade isn't that consistent. And I'm not being a hater when I say Viper has been a better top laner than Broken Blade. TSM fans, wake up, watch other teams. Like, they have more success with less hyphy players. They have more success with the rookie.
I'll give them this though, Loco. This TSM team. I'm kind of with you, by the way, because actually the thing that underwhelms me about Team Liquid is also one of the reasons at TSM. It's also one of the reasons I don't think that they're as good as Cloud9 and TL. Is I actually think their players aren't as good as those. Like those teams have really good players in all positions. TSM, like Bjergsen's very good. Yes, okay. After that, you're struggling to find someone who's the best at their role. Like, none of them are really even in contention. Like, but the one thing that works for them, and this is one of the things that I actually took a long time in League of Legends to learn, is the core concept I used to make the mistake of is just evaluating the player strength in isolation. And what I didn't understand was, because teams have to like overlap and cover each other's weaknesses, but still have strengths each. That's what makes a good team. So, for example, we've already talked earlier in the season, like a team like FlyQuest on paper should never have been beating these teams, but they worked as a team really well early on. So I will say that that's one thing about TSM that does work, is that like their bot lane's fairly passive, but that works if you're going to play around top. And the top and the jungle are really aggressive. And then Bjergsen, he's kind of in between. So it's like, actually, the balance at least is decent. Like they have a like the team concept is cohesive, even if some of the player synergies are a bit wonky or not quite there, you know. That's good enough to beat most of the teams. It's just the problem is, like, where are the people who are going to take over the game in a best of 5 against Cloud9? Yeah. Who's going to dominate if they play Team Liquid?
Bjerg is still a star player and
he's probably good, yeah.
Probably still the best mid laner, but surrounding pieces aren't developed enough, aren't star carries. Like Zben, I think, is their next best player. He's not like a take over the game kind of player. No. And you look at the top side of the map, Acadian and Broken Blade, just rank Acadian and Broken Blade as jungle and top laner, isolate them. They're below C9, they're below TL, arguably they're below FlyQuest too. So at best, they're the 4th best mid and jungle or top and jungle duo, and that's not a part of the map you can depend on to carry you through playoffs. So a lot of worrying signs for TSM. And I even think it is disservice to C9 and TL to put TSM in the same category as,
you know what,
as a
Loco?
top-tier team.
I'll show you why that is. Because here's the thing. If you ask me any matchup, Cloud9 versus another team, Team Liquid and stuff, not each other, any other team, I'll already tell you they win. Mm-hmm. You know what? If TSM plays Golden Guardians in a series, TSM plays FlyQuest and say that'll be interesting. They could get upset, mate. That could really happen, and that's the difference to me.
Zirene, are you gonna leave me out there? Or are you gonna support TSM and be like, Loco's totally wrong, TSM fans? Give your 2 cents. What do you think?
I agree that they shouldn't be in that same upper echelon. Like, sure, they can beat the bottom teams a little more consistently, but the teams right below them, Golden Guardians, FlyQuest, Optic, like, I think those are the ones that can give them a lot of trouble. And I think it's because they make way more like game losing mistakes than TL and C9 do. Like they're very prone to having their top side go very wrong off of a top gank and lose 2 people and lose summoners. They're very prone to having a mid game where somebody is in the wrong lane or somebody's not rotating. Whereas like the other teams seem to be, I don't know what it is. They seem to be talking more about what everybody's doing, or like they have a unification about them. Whereas, you know, I hate the whole, 5 fingers versus like a hand or a fist, right? But they do feel like they are just completely separated right now. And the funny thing is, I feel usually it's supports and junglers that bring the teams together. But I'm feeling like Acadian is bringing Broken Blade into the roster, even though he doesn't like need to. And I feel like Smoothie is kind of
isolated.
There.
Yeah.
Right.
This is actually what shows you what he was saying before about like how the meta is so different, because what's mad is there's a bunch of teams that win games in LCS just with strong laners. They don't like the jungle and support some designing like Golden Guardian is a good example. Yep. They get away without them being that good. Like you couldn't do that in the old days. You'd be dead instantly in that scenario. So like I actually think at the moment the whole like better jungle difference that only matters if the other jungler's really good.
Yeah.
If both junglers are like not that good, it doesn't matter. The laners can actually win the game in this meta.
Yeah, so if you're not going against like Xmithie or Svenskeren, and then I guess even Santorin, actually, I would say, then you definitely have your work cut out for you. I mean, there are some junglers, but I don't think they get along with their teams as well, like, you know, BDO, Stardock, and stuff like that. But yeah, I think they are supposed to be the glue. But if you go head to head, then laners can go ahead and win if everything else is equal.
Oh, you know what, Loco? I'll do you a favor. I'll return the favor, right? Since you were reasonable about Frog and you saw the light, I'll tell you what. I actually will agree. Even though I will say the one thing I'm worried about if they remove Acadian is he does seem like where a lot of the proactive play comes from.
Yes.
Even if he doesn't always do it well, he does it a lot. And so as a result, that obviously makes it easier for other people to follow up, to go get skirmishes. So I am a bit concerned if you replace him with someone who's not that proactive, because I feel like you would kind of kill some of TSM's chances. But in terms of just as a jungler, I would take Santorin back to TSM now if I could. I know you probably can't. It's been split. No, if you do like a hypothetical, I think if you put Santorin back there, you'd start to have a pretty nice roster now.
Yeah. Oh, Santorin's third best jungle, easy. Xmithie, Svenskeren, Santorin. And Svenskeren, Santorin's even arguable. And he's ended.
There's a lot of bad junglers, though, to be fair.
Yeah.
And the maddest thing is, obviously, the most ridiculous thing is Optic, not even that good a team, just hoards two of the good junglers.
Yeah. they hoard two of them, and I feel like they don't even have like solid parts. Like you could play around mid with those.
They can't even carry with those guys. Yeah.
Where you go? You go on tops because like usually it's like, oh, I can go to like mid and top, so you have like a good half of the map to play to. Or you're like, my top laner sucks. Mid and bot, like we can work with this. Here it's like, well, Arrow's not gonna do shit, and well, okay, fuck Dokla. Like,
and Crown doesn't speak English.
Yeah, and you're just like, Crown, we're gonna
exactly
body language.
You're like doing charades to him and shit. I 1v1. Oh. Go, you go.
If they did get Santorin back, then there would be 4 Europeans. Oh my god. And like we would never get credit if TSM does well. Like
dude, that's also low key a reason why I want it to happen. Because if they get really good, I take all credit for Europe.
Zirene, is the game
and that'll trigger the TSM fans even more, by the way.
Yeah.
Zirene, is the game time concerning for you at all? TSM has the highest game time.
I think it is, but at the same time, like they just played some really long ass games where they were losing, and then like they got a Baron steal, or they
have come back in a lot of those games. To be fair,
I feel like a lot of I'd like to see their average win time, because I feel like what happens is they end up stalling games out. The other team fucks up royally, and then they're like, oh well, like we don't deserve this ball, but you know what? I will take this and serve it. Like it's when if they're supposed to serve, but they gave it to you, you're like, okay, well I'm not gonna fucking complain. Like that's what they end up doing, and I feel like having that long game time is not that concerning for me, because I've seen them play early game. I've seen them play like 30-minute games and stuff like that. Sure, it's around like 40-ish, I think, is their average game time, but a lot of those are them turning games around instead of just like losing very slowly for a long time and then dying.
I agree their mid and late game has been good, but it is concerning that they lose early game to 100 Thieves, to Echo Fox. Like, these are literally 9th and 10th place teams that you guys lose early game to. That is definitely a concern of mine. Like TL and C9, if you play like that. But also, TSM has a tendency to play to people's level from what I've seen. Where they play versus TL and C9, like, they'll match up. They'll play correctly. And you play them versus 100 Thieves and Echo Fox, like, then you get
also the Dragon Ball Z analogy again, because we all know you never just go in and you're like 2 Super Saiyan levels above and just win the fight. You have to like keep narrowly like that's the thing about that show that made me, because I basically used to just be like in the room and someone else would be watching, so I vaguely followed some of it, and I used to keep saying like, dude, in every fight, do they always start off with a big move where the fucking smoke comes up and then they turn away like, that's one, and then the guys just stood there like, your shit moves on level 1 don't work. I was like, is this every fight? And he was like, yeah.
It
And then
pretty
they
much-
were all loving it. And I was like, fuck this. What is this shit? It's like, that is TSM, mate. They don't, like they should be dominating some of these teams at the bottom.
Like, why torture yourself when you can just instantly go for your most powerful move instead of just like spend 3 episodes fighting this guy back and forth, being like, oh, but I it's like Princess Bride. It's like, I'm left-handed, right? It's like, oh, I am not left-handed. It's like, oh, using the wrong thing the whole time. It's like, why toy with them that way? Just like get it over with. And it feels like TSM can't do that. It feels like TL can, but like TSM, it feels like they can't sometimes.
So here's the things, Irene. I appreciate the reference. I was born in the 80s as well. That was actually a pretty good reference. Problem is, like, I was trying to go with the kids with all the Dragon Ball Z shit. I feel like that went over a lot of their heads. Watch that movie, by the way. It's a fun movie. You'll like
Princess
it.
Bride is
If you're
great.
nerds, you'll like it. It's good.
It's my favorite book. My favorite book.
Dragon Ball Z
my
is
childhood.
not young people reference, by the way. It's definitely
Super Dragon Ball Super. It's the same shit. It's the same shit.
People watching Dragon Ball Super nowadays are like, they're old people. They're like 20, 30-year-olds like going back and trying to relive their childhood. Like,
Listen, that's not. Don't you want LS to come on this fucking show? Calm it down. That is a show for patricians. We all know that. He understands that game on a higher level, you know, because I mean, you have to imagine now when LS watches Dragon Ball Z, I bet he goes the other way because, you know, he just references Dragon Ball Z like all his league guys. I bet he's watching Dragon Ball Z and he's just going like, oh shit, this is just like when fucking Chovi's going in and like Griffin and like, I bet he's just doing the opposite and everyone watching is going, who's not watching that fucking League of Legends shit? We're trying to watch Dragon Ball Z here, mate. This is sick. Shut up about that. We don't care about fucking. And also, the whole time he's watching, right? It's really annoying because you just hear those fucking. He's just got the poker chips in his hand, doesn't he?
Oh,
Even when he's watching Dragon Ball Z, you know, he's got to keep the APM up.
all right, let's go to Clutch Gaming. Another very
Must we?
we have
Is this the part of the show that hurts?
all right. Clutch Gaming. They are not going to make playoffs. Their schedule's too
Yes.
fucking hard. But let's talk about what they look like when they actually have Piglet on Aurelia, because he can actually go in and
He's a
like,
monster.
his jump in tendencies actually work for him. Him going ham with Vulcan like actually works.
That's it.
That
Get
was
Definitely
great.
on Aurelia. Get Definitely on that.
Maybe that
that's a
works
champion made for him.
Yeah,
Exactly.
but
You go in.
But when I watch Clutch with like Piglet on Aurelia and Huni on like another carry, not playing this fucking Karma ass shit, because then he has to enable other people. Like when he is playing a carry and then you have Piglet playing Aurelia and Vulcan on Alistar, like I actually think they look like number 5 in terms of the teams. Like I'd put them like be able to contest with like FlyQuest Golden Guardians in that state. I think they trash all the teams below them.
I know what you mean, but the problem is, like, I would
You
agree.
can't do that
The
every
prob-
game though.
The problem is, it's also too late in the split to do this.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
if they'd done this, you know, just before the half or something, then I'd say, yeah, they make a strong push towards the playoffs. They get the 6th spot or something. The problem is, like, they basically waited until like last week or something before like Hooney even started fucking playing.
Yeah. They waited way too long to actually get their ship together. Piglet on non-AD carries, Huni finally turning his brain on, but it's a little too late.
Yeah. What's the remaining schedule? It's fucking
It's brutal. It's top 3 TSM.
TL, TSM, C9, GGS. So it's actually like, if you consider Golden Guardians 4th or 5th, it could be top 4, all the top 4, 5 teams.
That's not the only thing,
Christ.
Larry. They have losing tiebreakers to so many teams.
Yeah.
So
The other thing is as well, like, to be fair though, like, yeah, they looked so bad at certain points in the split. If I look at the last few weeks, this is salvageable, this roster. If you make like one good move, you could. This could be a team that could be first of all playoff team, as we just said. It could be a solid team. It's never going to win LCS. Come on, like that's just unrealistic. But it's starting to get half decent.
I think this kind of roster is showing Clutch Gaming and 100 Thieves are a really great example of import mid. If you're not going to import mid, make sure your mid is pro belter. I think that's the big lesson that 100 Thieves and Clutch is teaching us. So all you new GMs, if there's ever expansion or if you ever get a GM position, don't try to reinvent the wheel. NA teams have tried again
Didn't
and again
Hui
and
used
again.
to be an import and now he's not, so it's like
Still like
that's like
Yeah.
saying like, you know, Bjergsen's also an NA mid
All right,
at that
well,
point.
Hui have been so naturalized where I feel like they need to re-import mid. But you're just
They need
making
to
the
deport Hooey is what you're saying. There you go. Right, we've solved it. That's the problem solved. There you go.
But it's such a simple roster building mistake that I feel like
Yes.
teams should never make this mistake. Like the first thing they should check, like, if you're an NFL team, the first thing you should check is, okay, do we have a quarterback and a left tackle? Okay, we have those two. We can actually move on and build rest of the roster. It's the exact same thing for an LCS team. Do we have a mid laner? Okay, we don't have a mid laner. This is the first problem we need to solve.
By the way, I said this in a video already. The place you go to get the mid laner, it's this continent called Europe. You know how many mid laners there are there that are like on the
They have
sixth
two
best
on
team,
one
they're legit.
team. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Exactly. Like, dude, some of these teams, like, Clutch Gaming has money. They could go get some of these guys, especially, like I said in my video, if you get the rookies. Like, if they'd have locked out and they'd have signed that, like, humanoid guy, dude, they'd be legit as fuck right now. I mean, obviously, it wouldn't necessarily work. I'm trying to think who else they got on the team. No, that would be okay. That would be still a decent spot, right?
Well,
they'd have a residency.
I mean, the thing is, like, I want to, going back a little bit more to football, I think 100 Thieves is very, very similar to Giants, where you have Saquon Barkley, you have OBJ, and then your quarterback, and then your quarterback's Eli. So it doesn't matter that you have so many sick side lane pieces. And
wait a minute, is the analogy here that fucking Huey and Demote washed Eli Manning at the end of his career when he hasn't got an arm anymore? Like, is that really the analogy? That's harsher than anyone who doesn't know the NFL. That's the harshest flame of this episode.
Mm-hmm. And the analogy is, if you don't have a mid laner, then you don't have a team. And I think that's true for 100 Thieves and Clutch, where mid laner has to be one of the strongest positions on your team, or it's really, really hard to function as a team.
The only region I'm aware of that's been really successful without having to have the absolute best mid is actually Korea. Mm-hmm. And that's just because they were so great at playing the map. They have this great balance. Also, they have God top laners. That fucking helps for a start. Like, that's the only region I've ever seen get without like the top teams don't have to have the best mids in the region.
It's like Rocks.
Everyone else does. Like, people might not know, for example, at the moment, LPL actually has an amazing mid pool. They have like a really deep one. So again, that's another area where, I mean, fairness, these teams aren't making it to international competition anyway, but these teams would really suffer if they ever went international. Like, God forbid Clutch Gaming went to a Rift Rivals or something. It'd be nasty.
That'd actually be disgusting.
It would. That'd be bad.
But like, in terms of, let's just talk about NA. Let's go back to like Krillin among humans, right? Like,
amongst aliens.
Yeah, no. Like, take the aliens out of the equation.
Oh, Krillin among humans is good. Like, yes,
right?
exactly.
Like, yeah, it's like Demonte among.
Paul Belter is Krillin, because the thing is, like, you know, among humans, he's fucking sick. He's doing his best. He's got skills. Problem is, he keeps going to fight against fucking Freezer and shit, doesn't he? And he's like, oh, this doesn't work.
Exactly, right? But for him being a human, it's like Paul Belter is the best that you can get. And then, like, you look at Demonte and you're going like, he's that Hercule guy, right? Like, sure, he's the most powerful human who's not like powered up, but that's the thing is I don't think Demonte is god fucking awful, right? Like, when I look at him, I don't think he's in like that bad category, right?
He's on the wrong team.
I mean, what team would you put him on?
Put it this way, here's the problem with him. I can't even blame him if he just has average games, because look at his team. He's got Piglet, Lyra, and Huni. God forbid this guy tries to come from the middle of the map, the most pivotal position. And who do you think's getting the gank? Huni or Demonte? You know, like there's a saying in, like, there's a great quote I always like to quote from the movie Blade, where it goes, some motherfucker's always trying to ice skate uphill. It's like, that's like Demonte's life trying to carry from mid on this team. It's like, it's never going to happen for you, mate. They're going to you've got the two most greedy for ganks Korean players to ever play in the LCS, and the jungler's Korean. Like, good luck with that.
No, that's a really good point.
So I can't blame him. You know, if he was like, obviously the problem here is any other team, a lot of them are bad. So it's like, I'm trying to think who would be a reasonable team to put him on here. The obvious ones. If he was on 100 Thieves, I think he'd be all right.
I mean, Soligo's on that team now, who just got pulled up from Academy, and that looked like serviceable, right? So you could probably put, like, plug and play almost anybody in there, because Arrow doesn't take a lot of ganks. Afromu tries to go elsewhere. Someday is interesting, because sometimes he gets ganks, and then sometimes he looks allergic to them, where it's like, Anda, don't come near me.
I think it's just Anda.
yeah, probably.
So my thing about Demonte is fine as player, and I don't even think he's that bad. It's just, you're trying to be a mid laner in North America, where the role is so heavily imported. Like, you have to be a fucking prodigy. Like, if you're an ugly dude, like, sure, you can come with us and party, but you can't be that one guy that goes and talks to the girls.
You gotta bring
for
an
our group.
uglier friend, right?
No,
Like
you
that's-
can't.
Oh no.
The ugly friend cannot be the person that goes up to the group of girls to get them to come to our table.
That's the reason why
Wow.
that analogy works though, Loco, is because obviously that the scenario that happens is, say there's a bunch of girls and there's three of you, three of them, two of them are really hot. It's like the third guy knows, like, I'm not going to be an arsehole here. Obviously, I'm just going to have to talk to the girl. It's not as good looking, pretend everything's going great so everyone can have a great time. My boys can have a chance, That's what happens when you pick a non-pole belt at NA mid and you put all your star players elsewhere. It's like they better really fucking shine because his job is just don't fuck it up for us. Just, be the ugly guy. Just do what you can, but the others have got to really shine at this point.
Dude, chat is right there, Thorin. Like they can hear. Yeah, take a one for the team though. That's kind of what Demote has to do though, right?
Yeah.
Like, and he's not even like a heavy roaming mid laner either. He's just kind of push, maybe ward Raptors. Like that seems about it. Or even pick like a losing scaling lane. Like back when he was playing Akali, that looked fine because it's like I'm not going to get attention even if you ganked my lane. We probably can't kill this guy, so like let me scale up. I'll have pressure on me. Don't die to their mid laner roaming, and then they'll work. But right now it doesn't. It doesn't work for them unless Piglet is on an Aurelia, because then it feels like Hooney's pushing in. Piglet is actually getting good 2v2s, and then they open up the map, and Demonte is kind of just reaping the rewards of that.
It's not. So don't get us wrong. I don't think any of us three think Demonte is terrible. It's just to be a mid laner, like you have to be a prodigy, or it's a waste of time. Like if we're betting on, like Clutch is betting that Demonte is going to be up to Bjergsen level, Niski level, Jensen level sometime in the future, right? It just doesn't seem that way. And if it feels like your mid laner is not going to be a prodigy level, move on and try to find another prodigy level player, because you're not going to have a winning roster. You can't win championships without an absolute top tier mid. And that's my knack against Demonte. If he was another position and putting up decent level of performance, then he can be on the team, but you cannot be the focal point. You cannot be like jewel of my roster as a mid laner and not be absolute top tier level.
Yeah, and I think it even like funnels harder than that for North America too because of the imports and stuff. Mm-hmm. It's the idea of like, let's just say you're the best fucking high school basketball player at your high school. Then you go to college, you get a scholarship. Like you're the best fucking player on that team, right? Mm-hmm. Then you get pulled up to the NBA and you're like, when am I going to get to fucking play? Like you're like the fourth person in that role. It's like, well, let's wait for three other people to die, change teams or retire. And then maybe I get a starting spot to even start getting better in like live games. Cause even if you are the best of the best where you are in that, like, big fish, small pond, once you go to the next level, it's like even Bjergsen suffers from this internationally, right? Jensen suffers from this internationally, where there's just so many elite players who were the best of the best of the best, and you have to play against them.
So people are mentioning Pobelter. Oh, TL won with Pobelter. CLG won with Pobelter. Sure, you can win with Pobelter, but that's more of an exception. Why are you trying so hard to be an exception? Yes. Like when CLG won with Pobelter, they had Doublelift, Aframu, fucking Darshan was on top of this game. Like NX Mithy, sure, they won with Pobelter with like absolute top tier players and all the other roles. TL, they won with Pobelter with what? Impact, Doublelift. Like, yes, you can win that way. Yes, there are some people that win lotteries, but
it's so hard.
Yeah, don't spend your life saving into a lottery. My friend won the lottery. There's better ways. Like go to college, get a regular job. It's a better way to have a life. Like you can win with a Pobelter type player, but it is not the norm, and don't like plan to do that.
Also, logically, if you believe that you can win with Pobelter and he's the only one who's done it, you better get Pobelter then, aren't you?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, think it through. If you're going, it does work if you have that Pobelter guy though. So we won't sign him though. We'll just get this other guy that's never done it though. It's like, so you're telling. So Jamonte's job is to cosplay Pobelter, be a tribute band. Just get Pobelter. Clutch Gaming, you have money. You have money.
Okay. Let's go to CLG. I actually...
Here's the thing. You know what? Here's my analogy. The problem with Clutch Gaming is this. Every time you think they're going to take a shot, they're like the Houston Rockets, James Harden. They take 3 steps back first. Oh, that's fucking genius, mate. If you know anything about basketball, that was God tier. There's a thing in the NBA called the 0 step now, where you basically can take 3 steps instead of 2. But anyway, don't worry about that. That one went over your heads. I see I need to get back to my fucking cartoons from the 90s or somewhere. Well, anyway, in Thundercats, the thing about Paul Battle, come on.
Okay.
Right, go on, the next team.
Oh,
CLG.
holy shit.
What the fuck are you guys doing?
Oh,
last
and
week?
also, here's the thing though: the only way that NA mids aren't like James Harden is James Harden absolutely can travel.
That was
Jesus
good.
Christ.
Anyway, that's enough flaming James Harden for this episode. Let's go back to LCS.
That's what gets you.
What the fuck is CLG doing? They were almost locked for playoffs. They used Auto and Moon. They lost both games in a winnable weekend, and now they're out of playoff. They look like they're not going to make playoffs.
I actually think 100 Thieves are better than CLG.
Ugh.
I think 100 Thieves.
Sure,
I think 100 Thieves are better than CLG, and I think they have a way better chance of making playoffs based on the schedule. Like,
Why at that moment do you bench 2 players? Why at the critical moment where...
Well, I know you're just saying it as a rhetorical device, but you're friends with the guy. Just reach out to the coach. Ask him. Say, listen, what kind of mind game were you playing with me and everyone else who likes League of Legends that you thought this would work? He'll go, listen, Loco. Well, they wouldn't actually because that's Marshall. I'd go, that's copyrighted. Don't you dare say that. He'd say, can I talk to you, please, Loco? And then he'd go, you have to understand, Loco, talent, as you understand it, doesn't exist. And then you'd go, yeah, but you're the coach of CLG. You'd go, oh, my bad. Yeah, I've just looked at the other teams. Actually, it definitely exists. Fuck. Why did they send those players to Academy? Why did they put Wiggly down there?
I'm never, ever going to try to question Weldon about something because I know I'll just ask him a straightforward question and he'll give me an answer for 5 minutes. And at the end of the answer, I just want to tell him, you didn't answer my question. You just gave me an antidote on
He's like that meme.
Why you're a great coach. And I'm just like, I want the answer to the question. That's how I feel every time I talk to Weldon. It's, you never answer my fucking question.
It's like, Loco, you don't understand. Like, I know you've only been a coach in this eSports thing. I actually coached the most successful 38-year-old female swimmers that Finland's ever produced. And, they were winning like bronze medals. Sometimes they were qualifying for the over 35s and, the heats were pretty good. And so anyway, I've been using have you ever thought, Loco, your problem in the game is you're always trying to not lose. Maybe you should try and win. And then he just looks around. Do I get paid now? And then they go, you've got to do the draft as well. Actually, does that guy, what do you think of the other guy? Is the other guy any good?
Irene,
yeah.
Irene.
So here's my thing.
Did you hear about the Zion Spartan thing?
Yeah, where he doesn't know it was Darshan.
He came in, and then he learned like after a few weeks that he was like, oh, Darshan is Zion Spartan. I used to watch that. He had no idea they were the same person.
To be fair, even though when he was Darshan, he did win the LCS, if you missed the middle part and you only saw Zion Spartan and then the last couple of years you saw Darshan, you could make that mistake.
True.
You could be like, was that like his twin brother that like had some sort of like problem with his hands or something? Did he get to play as well? Cool.
So, and then you hear them sing and you were like, oh, it's the same person.
You just hear him in the shower. I'm gonna love you forever. Yep, that's him, Zion Spartan.
Recognize that anywhere.
Exactly.
Fuck, what was I going to talk about? Oh my god, you threw me off.
Why would you sub these players out in a very important week where you play Clutch and GGS and stuff?
Auto and Moon don't have stage experience, and it's so critical, and it was an easy week. Even if Stixay and Wiggly are playing badly, like, I didn't understand, and it was just such a critical moment for them. If they went 2-0 that week, and it was such a winnable week also, they're in playoffs.
Dude, I've already said it in the past. I was actually legit waiting for when this team was going to be like 5th and get a playoff spot. And I would have actually said, I think Weldon did a pretty good job. This roster wasn't that great. He managed to a couple of, developing players. It looks like he's just tanked the fucking team.
Yeah, I tank for Zion.
Not bad. Not bad.
I mean, this CLG just looks like a team that lost their coach Zix. Like, that's legitimately what they look like, is they lost a lot of the, I'm not going to say like the brains, but I'll say the brains of the team that like used to set them up for success. Now CLG is like, they're just flailing around. They had Fallen Bandit, Wiggly, Moon, like they auto in, and Moon made mistakes that are mechanical that you saw Wiggly make like his first day that he was in. And now you're so far into the season of week 7 that like those mistakes should not be happening. And that's what I was saying at the beginning, where it's like these mistakes, these types of like team fight throws, Baron throws should not be happening in week fucking 7 of the spring split. These are things that you need to figure the fuck out way earlier. And if you're going to bring in Moon and Auto, like you're playing Clutch Gaming and you're playing Golden Guardians. Like these are teams right next to you in the standings. why are you like trying to shoot for the moon? Like you are saying like, well, I know that we can just reach the atmosphere, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go for this crazy shit. If this works out and the can just blows up, it's like,
dude,
well, it's never going to work.
On week 9, the last week, CLG plays Echo Fox and 100 Thieves. That's the time to test them. Test them on the last game against Echo Fox when you made the playoffs. Like that, you could do it then. I agree. Why are you doing it when you're in the playoff race?
I think their drafts were shit too. Were pretty fucking bad.
Here's the thing about drafting and coaches. So I want to defend all my fellow coaches.
Come on.
You can know what matchups are good. You can draft for what's correct. That's not going to be the truth for your team. Like CLG, they must have had some fucking god-awful early game and scrims where they pick early game comps and they can't win early game, and they realize the only way we can win is scaling and winning team fights. So I'm going to draft you guys a comp with a lot of losing lanes but really strong team fight, because that's literally the only way we can win. Like, coaches aren't stupid. It's just you have to operate under the realities of your team, where everyone expects you to operate under the reality of every team, that your players can play anything, and that they don't have stigma towards certain champions or stigma towards certain play styles. And you can't even publicly say that. You can't publicly say we don't know how to play early game, or we're bad at early game, so that's why we're drafting scaling comps, because then you're shitting on your players. You're shitting on your players in a secondary way. So you can't even say that. You just have to say, this is how I think the game should be played. This is what I think gives us the best chance. And you kind of have to bullshit.
In line with that as well, especially in American sports culture, where like you're kind of supposed to keep things within the locker room and not like leak out who's the problem and so, especially because as we said earlier on, like the scrutiny on them is insane if anyone's perceived as the scapegoat. So half the problem as a coach is you have to literally pretend that you drawing some matchup that's not that great was what you thought was the best move, even though really what you need to say, but you can't, is like, my guy can't actually play two of the better champions there. Like, they perfectly banned it so that the two that you wanted me to pick, like, Ezreal or whatever, he can't play that. But if you say that publicly, it's just done, isn't it? You've just wrecked the team spirit. So like, you just have to take the loss on that one. You have to take the L.
This is something that I struggle with understanding.
You have to take the L and know that it's all going to go according to plan in the end. Well, much like Death Note. There you go.
Wow. Okay.
All according to Kikaku, as about 7 million people have ruined now on Reddit. That used to be a sick line until Reddit ruined it.
Translator note: Keikaku means plan. All right.
By the way, for anyone who's wondering, you know the thing about Death Note, I always thought it was a really great show. It's just a shame they never made more than 12 episodes. That's probably the most base comment anyone's made in this fucking show so far. There we go. Right. Anyway, back to LCS.
Yeah. So. Like, I'm on the outside of this stuff, Loco, with the coaching and everything. The thing I can't understand is when everything is on the line in terms of champion select and all that. Like, if you're getting to a point where you're like, my player can't play this thing. Like, players have hands, they have brains, they have you. Why can't they play this thing? Are they incapable of playing it? Can they not play it well? Is there no way to get them to play it, to have them watch VODs, to have them... Like, I understand there's a mechanical aspect to this, but it's like, if you need to expand somebody's repertoire, like, put the games in on solo queue, we'll go over it, we'll help you understand this. And then if it gets to the point where they don't feel confident in it, it's like, lock it in anyway. And if we get flamed, I will publicly come out and say that it was my responsibility. Like, a coach is supposed to take the flag for their fucking team. A coach is supposed to, like, stay up long hours, soak shit up from the public so that their players don't have to. And I don't see anybody really doing that.
Okay, so... two things. First of all, every week you're trying to improve and you're also trying to win. So you need to make sure you win that week more so than you improve. Some teams are okay with losing and improving. There's always a balance. You don't always pick one or the other, but you are always picking between both. So anytime you're picking to play a champion that you're not well versed in, you have to put practice into it, and it takes away practice time from winning. And then to convince a player to put practice on a champion, you need to do two things. One, you need to convince them this champion's really good in the meta and we need to be playing it. That's sometimes a problem, but not always.
They usually get convinced by losing to it. That's how it happens, is they get blasted by it.
And then the second thing is, you also need to convince them they're not the greatest on it, and you need to put practice onto it. And one, like, if it's a champion that player doesn't want to play or doesn't think it's good, first of all, he's not going to want to play it. And two, he's not going to think he's bad on it, or he's going to think it doesn't really require skill, so he's not going to put practice onto it. So those are already two hurdles that you need to cross. And then third, what if they might reluctantly put time onto it? And then what if you get on stage and you ask them to play it and they say stuff like, I'm not comfortable with it here, I think this would be better. So as a coach, you're in a situation where you need to uncomfortably make a player play something he doesn't want to, that it isn't the best on, and that you guys both know. So in a lot of way, it seems like the wrong decision in the moment of it. Yes, if you take everything out, if you take all the factors out and you're looking at it outside in, why isn't this team playing Jace? Why isn't this team playing this? But there's a lot of factors that go into it. And yes, it is a coach's job to make sure, and a player's job to make sure they play every single champion in the meta that's good and that should be played. But a lot of hurdles to jump. And sometimes you fail one of those hurdles and it looks like absolute garbage, or you just don't play it at all.
I feel like coaches, one of the things that like makes us not talk about a lot of coaches in the league in general is we don't see them taking a lot of responsibility for decisions with the team publicly at all, or even
the best example,
things.
That thing that happened last year in the summer split with Cloud9 and Reapered, like he already was considered a good coach. Now everyone calls him the God coach because everyone thinks he's the one behind everything. So you're right. The problem is if something good happens in a team now, you don't know if it's the players. Maybe that player's just really sick. Maybe the draft's easy for that team. Mm-hmm. You have to kind of know some insight of what someone did before you can give them credit.
Yeah,
and
but
flame them the same.
That's true. But at the same time, because it's the outside in, like if it's the players getting the flame or the praise, like it's like you got to believe them when they say that you're good, and if you do, then you got to believe them when they say that you're shit. So I don't want that volatility with my players, right? I don't want them to have this like, oh, you're on a 5-game winning streak, you guys are fucking great. I'm like, no, you need to practice like you're the worst and play like you're the best. You need to get out there and you actually need to put in the work if you want to be champions. And I feel like that's something that a lot of coaches don't instill in their players, is they get the kind of NA squeak by mindset instead of the improve, set time aside for certain champions, set time aside for the way to actually like get the team together. And I think that in Spring Split, I will say that, in Spring Split, a lot of cohesion issues do happen, and that's usually what coaches try to focus on, is cohesion over like composition is usually like the first step that I see them going with. So I understand that aspect of it.
Another huge thing is the coaching relationship and also the management relationship. So let's say I have a management that has my back 100%.
Yeah, they need to empower you.
I'm more than willing to try out a lot of stuff, but if I feel like the management doesn't have my back, then I feel like my seat is hot, then I feel like I need to deliver results. And I would say 90% or 80% of the coaches in LCS, they feel like their seat is very fucking hot and they're very replaceable. And more often than not, management will side with players over coaches. So
of course.
In my opinion, the only way that you show that you're not replaceable is by taking risks, or else you're just another head. Mm-hmm. Right. If you play it safe, your team won't get better, or you won't realize that you're not a good fit for the team. And if you get fired and you have to go to like another team, if that's an issue for you, you may not believe that you're good enough to go to another team, or that your coaching skills are something that will work for a team. Right. Mm-hmm. Like if you actually believe that you are very effective at coaching, you can be fired from any fucking team and you should be able to get another job because you're taking the risks and you're looking out for the players.
Mm-hmm. Weldon Green. Sorry, no, you were talking generally.
You were waiting on that, man.
My bad. My mistake. I got
confused. Holy shit. I mean, but at the same time, though, like it is a little similar to some things that he will say, but I need to like see more of that. I need to see that in the players. I need to see that like that they are almost like not protected, but that they have the environment in which they are allowed to fail, as long as they are failing upward.
That's everything you said. I actually don't disagree with. It's just reality of the situation of you need to be doing this. Yes, you need to be doing this, but it is hard, and there is a lot of steps that go into it.
I got a fairy tale world going,
A lot of complicated, like relationship with management, relationship with players, relationship with certain players that you're going to be long term with, relationship with certain players are just there for the short term and won't be there next year. A lot of things going into it.
Yeah, the only thing is, though, you guys are like, you're going very like meta and abstract about how to coach here. I would just say right now, if you're a coach in the LCS, if you want to prove to me that you're a good coach, I need you to literally have like a wake up service that calls the players and says to them, when ahead, don't force desperation barons. when you go, there's a post-it note on the fridge when they wake up. Baron is not for that. Take the team fight. It's like that's all I need right now, because that is the thing that is. You know what? Forget international teams. The Baron is killing NA right now. That motherfucker is killing NA. Why are they doing this? Even good teams are doing it. Even the really good teams are going, well, we're basically in like a 65% win chance. 50-50 Baron, anyone? It's like, did you even know the numbers on that one? Like, run that past me again. Why are we doing these? It's depressing, isn't it? Because like you said earlier, when someone does that on week 1, fair enough. Miscommed, didn't start. It's at week 7 or something, isn't it? Like, come on, please.
Yeah.
It's weird. Because for me personally, Baron is one of the first things I coach, because it's so crucial to the game, right? Whether you can Baron control or not. If you're a shitty team that can Baron control and you're versus a shitty team that don't know how to Baron control, you'll most likely win the game. So it's one of the first things you tackle, and it's something that's very systematic, and that's been the same way for such a long time, but people still can't get right. So that one I actually don't have an answer for, and I do think teams with
tell you one thing
are bad.
I genuinely think, like, this sound like, here's the thing. I tend to try to only flame like in-game mistakes if it's a really obvious one, because I'm not a high-level player. I don't know it, right? Yeah. One thing I can't believe, which is what sets up a lot of these fail Barons, is say your team's in the lead. Say you've just you got a nice kill off a skirmish. It's like, right, we could go do Baron. The jungler's job there, you know what we were saying about the AD carry? Your job is to stay alive. In team fights, you must be alive. The jungler's job there is to say, I can't go Baron. My sweeper is not up. Why are they doing... well, we did get the kill, so yeah, let's just go and gamble. It's like, you can't clear the wards. That is the cardinal sin. If you are the jungler, and because it's one thing if you're behind and you try to capitalize that, we'll just take the risk. We just got to kill, we get the Baron, we're back in the game. When you're in the lead, there's no reason to do that. They're not going to go and do it. You just killed someone, or they just reset or something,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or it's even support. Your job is to find the jungler. We don't see him, go fucking find him, right?
Yes.
He's obviously behind the pit somewhere. Go fucking find him, right? There's a lot of things like that.
Wasn't there a game? Was it the 100 Thieves game? There was a game where someone fucked up. I think it was 100 Thieves fucked up a Baron, and the same thing happened there. I think this is the game, if I remember correctly. Whoever the support was on. The support was on Alistair, I think, and he never just went round the back and actually kept people off. He stayed in the pit with them. I'll have to look up who this is.
It might be Echo Fox versus TSM. You mean where the Sejuani got into the fight?
It might be.
There was a Baron steal where TSM was losing versus Echo Fox, and Echo Fox could have prevented TSM from coming in, but TSM actually went in and was able to get the Baron steal.
I think this was the 100 Thieves TSM where the Aatrox was fucking crazy, and then I think Acadian got the Baron steal.
I think that might be it.
That right?
There's just so many.
It was the longest. It was the longest game of the split. Yeah,
because that was the one where they had no business losing that. Well, first of all, they shouldn't have done the Baron, but then when they were doing the Baron, they also didn't do any of the basic things you would do without any vision, which is send them around the back, check if they're coming in. It's they literally just thought they'd have made it a 50-50 Baron. They're if he dives in, he gets it. If he doesn't, he doesn't.
Yeah, they didn't even kill Blast Cone on that one, and I think that was one where you look at it and it's by the time it's almost like the Alistar or Aphromu was thinking, right before the Baron is going to be right before the Baron is in smite range, I'll do it. But then he's playing against Nocturne, who just ulties, then he ulties in and then he flashes out. So he actually gets the Baron and lives. I remember that one because, he's going to spell shield, maybe the headbutt or something like that. And he's not going to be pushed away. But I think he was waiting to the last second to do it. And then the vision went dark because of the Nocturne ulti. So,
right.
But they're not finding him. He's alive.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Because
it's one thing if people flame NA for the slow play style. But like I said, you can always excuse that, maybe the top team's conservative, they don't want to risk it. Maybe that's just their little meta. You can't really defend these bad gamble Barons when you're ahead. There's no excuse for that. Come on.
Mm. All right, let's start going to the final topics. Who do you guys have making playoff other than TSM, C9, and TL? TSM, C9, TL, I think we can all agree those three are going to be in there. Who's the last three for you guys?
FlyQuest, GGS, and then it's between Optic and 100 Thieves, because I think 100 Thieves can, based off what I saw, beat those 4 teams that they play. But I would say Optic is the shoe-in. So it'd be FlyQuest, GGS, Optic as my last 3.
Ooh, dude, the thing that's brutal is, I also would have insta-gone FlyQuest. They actually have a hard schedule. They have a bunch of games that they're due to lose.
But
Yeah,
they're 7-7. They have the best record.
They have the one
out of,
game advantage, right? And plus, obviously, if they just steal one of those games, they're through. That's it. Like, and that's a great motivator as well.
Who they play?
In that spot, they play. First of all, they play 100 Thieves, so fair enough. Then they play Team Liquid. Then they play Cloud9, and the last game is Golden Guardians, another team in that spot.
Yeah, that's going to be a game break. Like
that's a rough lineup, I have to say.
Yeah,
Whereas like GGS plays TSM, who, as we've alluded to already, they beat them already, actually, earlier on. Very different game, to be fair. They play Clutch Gaming, very winnable game. They play Optic, winnable, but I wouldn't say it's a foregone conclusion, but winnable. And then their last game's against FlyQuest. So I think Golden Guardians has got a pretty good chance, mate. They'd have to really fuck up at this point. Based on the games they've played so far, surely they're in.
Golden Guardians
so 2 is the last, right?
I think Optic / 100 Thieves, but I think it's Optic. I think Clutch stand a fucking snowball's chance in hell right now.
Mm-hmm. Clutch, I think, are less than 10%. Sorry, Echo Fox, those two.
Fox and Clutch, no, absolutely not. It's like CLG. If you stop shooting yourself in the foot, you have a chance.
Just last week was so bad for CLG. Last week is where they're going to point to and be like, this is where we fucked up spring.
Yeah. You can actually like pinpoint it. It's pretty bad.
I'm actually 100% with you with Optic. I want to be positive about 100 Thieves, but there's just way too many hoops that you're jumping through to make 100 Thieves go through. They have to go 4-0 and they have to win a tiebreaker. Like, this team's still been problematic, even with like Huhi fixing his even with Huhi gone. Like, Huhi wasn't all of your problems.
Yeah, they don't necessarily have to like win a tiebreaker. Like we talked about, like FlyQuest schedule, right? Where they're playing.
Game, they also play FlyQuest first game, so you're going to know after that one if it's even possible.
Yeah, because FlyQuest can go 7-11 because they play Golden Guardians. What is it? TLTSM, or it's like a 2 of the top 3 teams. So they play 2 of the top 3 teams and Golden Guardians, and then they play 100 Thieves. If they lose to 100 Thieves, like 100 Thieves can pop them out of the playoffs, which would be fucking tragic. I don't think it'll happen because I think FlyQuest can compete with those top teams and take a game off them. But it's that first one with 100 Thieves, FlyQuest, that means so much because the standings are just so close. I feel like we're gonna have a team that's 7-11 make it to playoffs. Like 8-10 or 8-10 or 7-11 is like right where we're at right now.
I mean, for 8 and 10 team to make it in, it has to be tiebreakers, right? They can't ever just make it in as 8 and 10. Like they either have to have a tiebreaker over people, or they have to play.
Here's the problem: it's like I said at the beginning. This is the problem that the problem we haven't been able to figure out is you have to figure out all the possibilities at once. Like the problem with this is it might be right that they could go 4-0, but what if like 2 of the other teams play each other and one has to win, for example? Like sometimes that can throw off. So I'm not sure what the possibility is. Do they not have one of those things? I know you had one posted on like a few weeks ago.
I just was
like a percentage chance.
Apparently.
Do you know what the percentage is for 100 Thieves?
No. I was just doing the percentage of the strength of schedule, like what they're like 40%.
I thought you actually
like no. That's way too complicated.
But one of the stats people for the LCS had posted that the number of scenarios left is 1,048,576. So I'm just like, Jesus fucking Christ.
There we go.
And there's only
the one in which 100 Thieves make it is one.
Exactly.
And it's the return of Huhi, and he carries like a motherfucker on Aryan Soul. That's too bad for me. Come on.
But yeah, TL, Cloud9, TSM, FlyQuest, Golden Guardians, Optic. Yeah. Those are my 6 teams.
I think that's a very smart and a logical. Anyone else that says otherwise is either a CLG or a 100 Thieves fan praying for a miracle.
Yeah, 100 Thieves, with Soligo in there in another week, like I will half believe that, but that's the thing where you're like, they're good enough for playoffs, but they're like literally like 6.5 if you had like places to put them at. It's like they could be 6th, but sorry, man, we round up here. You're 7th place in my book. Like it's unfortunate because Optic, Golden Guardians, of FlyQuest just look better than them consistently.
I think LCS teams are just terrible with sub timings. Like if 100 Thieves put in Soligo a week before, where it wasn't the TSM C9 matchup, and it was like I think it was a pretty decent week. It was like Clutch Gaming, Optic, or Golden Guardians, or Echo Fox, like 2 of those 4 teams, like where they could have won with Soligo, and then they're like, nope. This is the week where we stay with Huhi. The next week, C9 versus TSM, this is where we'll play Soligo. Just the timing on that was really weird, and also timing for CLG putting in Moon and Auto. So,
By the way, though, what that means is, based on the predictions we have now, like it was so easy to flame the fuck out of Optic at the beginning of the split, wasn't it? If they make the playoffs, I have to sort of tip my hat a bit. First of all, Crown, you're a fucking monster, mate. Like, you are actually a beast. But, like, how did they make the playoffs with this roster? It still doesn't make sense. They don't have a bottle in, even.
There were 2 teams that shat the bed, I think, or 3 teams. CLG, Clutch Gaming, 100 Thieves. These 3 teams, if their management got to rewind time and do it again, like, these are the 3 teams that I feel like can shoot up in standings. Every other team is, like, kind of doing per expectation. But these 3 teams just fucking bombed it. They made terrible decisions in roster making and terrible, like, in-game and, like, subbing players in and out decisions where these 3 teams just bombed it. That's why Optic rose a lot.
That's true, because you even look at like Fox as well. Like, sure, they didn't stand much of a chance, but it's like 100 Thieves, CLG, Fox all made substitutions, and those are the teams that are like right there, right next to them.
Yeah.
So,
and also the thing that you forgot as well, Loco, is you were flaming the fuck out of, well, just conceptually, the fact that you shouldn't do 10-man roster. And what happened is they stopped doing that, CLG. They ran the same 5. They were winning loads of games. And then they were like, let's just go back to that 10-man roster thing, actually. Let's just go back and put people in. The problem with that move, right, is I'll tell you right now, and I will admit, if you're like Weldon or someone out there, listen, it is hypocritical, because to be fair, if somehow you'd have won those games, we'd probably call you a genius. We'd go, how did he know? Wow, and he must have seen it. Yeah, but the problem is because you lost him. That's what happens when you take a big gamble. It's like if you lose, you look like an idiot, unfortunately.
Well, Reaper had to take the gamble because their expectations and like the reality wasn't matching up, and they weren't gonna like win. They weren't gonna go to Worlds. They were last place. Like, what do they have to lose? Where this team is, you are going to make playoffs. Your highs aren't that high. Your lows can be low. Like, so just fucking stay with what you have and make playoffs. Like, why not make playoffs? Ugh. All right. So I think, do you guys have any other LCS topics you guys want to talk about?
Let me think. Is there any spicy stuff happened recently? I've got a topic we can talk about, because obviously this was a big topic like about 4 days ago or something. You know, the whole thing of like everyone was criticizing like Aframu and Huhi, and then obviously, as usual, everyone's like a pro player. If it's the right pro player who's doing really well now, they're like the Pied Piper. They can just lead everyone to their fucking merry dance. Like, I think you guys are being too harsh. Yeah, actually. And you know, Reddit does that thing, right, where they all turn around like, you guys have got to stop flaming all these. It's like the guy who was doing it a minute ago. Like, he's just about to type in like, I think that Aframu should never be allowed to play. And then it's like Doublelift's like, you got to give these players a break. You know, you don't know what's going on in the team. And then he like backspaces it all. Let's support Aframu, guys. Like, if we cheer for him, then maybe he'll play well. It's like that whole like 180 heel turn into a baby face that Reddit attempted. What do you think on this topic, Loco? Because you're someone who gets flamed a lot on Reddit. I get flamed a lot on Reddit. What do you think of this?
I think to be a public figure, you have to be able to operate without really caring about what Reddit thinks, because Reddit isn't right. So let's say Reddit was actually genius, and if you listen to Reddit, it will further your career. First of all, a lot of the criticism isn't constructive, and they just give flat out wrong advice. They're like, oh, you shouldn't do this, or you should do this. Why doesn't this team do X? Why doesn't this team do Y? I think this team doing Z is really stupid. A lot of their advice is just flat out wrong. So have to have a thick skin, ignore Reddit. And I mean, Reddit is wrong, and also players are wrong sometimes, and big voices are wrong. I don't think Double is correct in everything he says. I don't think anyone's correct in everything they say. And where it's so just like flip-floppy back and forth, and you just worship someone and you listen to them. Like, have your own opinion, think for yourself. Players, casters, content creators, ignore mass groupthink advice, and listen to your friends, listen to people in the industry you trust a lot more.
Yeah, I used to like, you know, look at stuff on Reddit, and if there's like criticism or whatever, I'd be like, oh, that's actually like people are flaming you, and then there's actual like good criticism there. But I think Thorin once told me, it was like, you wouldn't jump in a river of shit for a candy bar at the bottom. It's just like, it's actually true. Like, why subject yourself to the river of shit, and just like stick to your own guns, talk to people that matter to you. But I don't think the criticism is unwarranted. Like, overall is the question. Like, I think that he made mistakes. I saw Someday making mistakes. I saw Soligo make a mistake. I saw Anda make a mistake. I even saw Bang make like one mistake there. It's like everybody makes mistakes, but for him, these ones were just so fucking egregious, where it's like, that is something that, like, if you do that in solo queue, like I have not seen something like that with the Scryer's Bloom. Like I'm sitting there going like I want to give him the benefit of the doubt and be like maybe there was a bug on his screen where he didn't see it, or maybe like he couldn't hear it because the white noise in his headset or somebody was talking, right? Like I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but that stretches shit where I'm just like that is way too much for me to be, like dismiss it or like believe that it was something where it wasn't out of his control. So it was, in my opinion, there's been multiple times it's happened with him recently where it's just been this lapse where you're like, where did Afro fucking go in that play? Where was he for the last 2 minutes? And those are the ones that stick out. And it feels like he is a little bit scattered right now. I think the criticism is completely warranted, in my opinion. I think it's accurate. I don't think he's fucking shit forever, right?
Sure.
You can be bad.
He's been a very good player in the past.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, this caster was really good, and now he's like, he's gotten a rut. Like that happens all the time. It happens to everybody, right? I think for him, it's just right now it's happening, and people want to have this big polarizing, inflammatory. He's always been shit. How do you ever get like MVP consideration? Yeah. You can't discredit stuff that people have done and rewrite history in that regard. Like,
and by the way, now you know why my Wonka candy factory wasn't really that successful.
Jesus Christ, Thorin.
Anyway, here's the thing though. Like, I have an angle on that I have to say, which is like, one thing I have to say up front is like really, really bad abuse is never acceptable. It doesn't matter how bad someone plays. Like, don't tell the player to kill himself.
Yeah.
Or, like, or like, this guy should never even be allowed to play like League of Legends. Again, especially actually if it is a legendary player. Like, the whole point is Afro Moo could actually, have a team next year where everything turns around and he's a good player again. We know that could happen. He's played so long. It's not like it's a rookie who comes in, they fuck up the first 10 games. It's like, yeah, get that guy out there. I understand if you're a fan then, why you are kind of like, get him out the game, ref. It's like the guy who's in the stands or whatever. The problem is this. Take that out of the equation. But let's be real, specifically about Afro Moo. This isn't like people were in the threads flaming like Rush on Echo Fox. Because that's the thing, actually. If you're Rush on Echo Fox, you're not relevant enough to get all the flame. You're going to get a little bit. Half the time people are going, he's crap anyway.
Well, it's uncharacteristic, right?
You actually have to be relevant enough that it's meaningful that you're bad. So let's be real, right? One of the reasons why Afro Moo's getting flamed is because I bet he's got a fucking crazy salary on 100 Thieves, and that's supposed to be a top team. They've just bought a world champion. They've got these pieces. The expectations are high for him, but justifiably, that's what he signed up for. Now, like I say, he didn't sign up for like abuse and ridiculous shit, but criticism totally warranted. Because in that scenario, I can even criticize from the perspective of like, dollar for dollar, like he's not playing up to where he should be at. If they had a different support, that's legit. I will say there are some areas that like pro players do tilt me a bit. Like, for example, first of all, like when Voyboy was saying like, you shouldn't criticize him, that's like, mate, I know that might be like, you might be giving real advice there, but the way your career ended was everyone was flaming the fuck out of you. That's too close to home, mate. That just feels like you saw someone else getting flamed. You were like, this sucked when it happened to me. It's like, that's not really relevant. I get that it hurts your feelings. Yeah, I get that. But the other side is this. Some famous players like Doublelift who are really good, they're just trying to be nice when they say that. Like, don't flame the person. Mate, you talk to Doublelift privately, he'll tear up half the league. He'll be telling you they're all shit. He just won't say it publicly. So this is my philosophy. I'm going to do a video on this topic, actually, because people would never expect I would think this. I actually do think, I've actually reversed my position on Twitter and Reddit, which is, I actually think it's actually on the people who are the pro player or the community figure to not read it. Yeah. Because that is actually it is literally the place for fans to talk. We need the fans to be super into the game. We need them to be able to discuss the game. We need them to ask questions, talk about. So actually, it's like I always say about Twitter. Twitter is the place for hot takes. That's the whole point of it. You instantly respond.
I agree with everything that you said, but there's a lot of new owners coming into the scene and a lot of new GMs. Not even joking, a lot of owners and GMs make their opinion up through Twitter or Reddit, and that's what fucking drives me nuts.
Because that's like what drives sales. It's like, they want fans. It's the interaction with the fans. Like, the fans are what give you money alongside sponsorships, right? And sponsors care about the numbers on your Twitter. They care about the interactions and shit like that. So it's the thing where it's this trickle down from, you got to have a good personality on the team. You got to have like people who are winning and stuff like that. And then people are talking about them and all of that. But when it's negative, people see that and they're like, okay, well, it's not helping the company's bottom line. Right?
Yes. So like in NBA, if you interact with fans, like KD interacts with fans all the time. Kevin Durant, like he'll reply to people on Instagram. He replied
sometimes
to
his account.
Account,
He replied to a 15-year-old on an Instagram because
that is mental, isn't it?
he didn't put him in one of the players he can build a team around. He put Steph Curry and LeBron James in their own tier. So basically, a 15-year-old made a tier list, and Kevin Durant like raised at the 15-year-old, like, go sweep your mama's room. Like, what the fuck are you like ranking players? Like, holy shit, KD, what the fuck are you doing talking to 15-year-olds on Instagram?
Also, who the fuck's sweeping their mother's? It's not Cinderella. What the fuck are you talking about? We have vacuum cleaners now. This he's living in the past. Where did he come from? The 18th century or something?
In like NBA, like, we make fun of people for interacting with fans and like on Twitter or Reddit. Like in League of Legends, like that's just the norm, and I think that's crazy that the fact that you don't get made fun of for taking Reddit or Twitter seriously, like people do take it seriously, and that's our norm and that's our culture.
Like, I always like to equate this, even like just in like the casting world as well, to like restaurants, right? It's like the chefs are the players, the people who come in and they critique food for a living, the food critics, those are the commentators, analysts, and then you have regular customers.
Okay.
The chef will make food and you are 100% able to criticize it. If you are an analyst and it is your job or whatever, 100% go ahead, criticize it, take all the factors into account, what your palate's like. But that doesn't mean that the fucking customers can't say you made this wrong or there's a fly in my dish or anything like that. The customers get to say whatever they want.
They can send back Afromu because actually he was cooked medium to well done.
Holy fucking shit, Thorin. But then, like, when enough customers complain about something, yeah, the chef's not going to care that much because he knows that he's following the recipes and stuff. But the manager's going to be like, well, that's not bringing people in. Like, you got to have people kind of like go towards whatever you're making. So I think there's this whole thing where when people say like, don't criticize them, it's like, that's just like, shut up and eat your food. That's like your mom telling you to do that at the restaurant. It's like, you got to like, just shut up. I paid for this. You eat this. It's like the chef made it. It's like, no, you have every right to be like, oh, well, I guess I'll go to another restaurant, another team, right?
Yeah. By the way, as he's saying here, you can be wrong as well. Like all the critics can say, oh, that's amazing, that player. And if you're a fan and you don't like it, especially if it's your team, by the way, you're in your right to flame them. Yeah. I've got a great analogy for you here, right? There's a difference between something being mean and against the rules. So, for example, all the players who are sort of like, oh, can we all just, as a community, stop like overly criticizing and being mean? It's like, dude, it's not illegal to be an asshole. Like, I made a whole career out of it. Like, if it was illegal, I'd be in prison right now. I'd be on death row. Like, I'm not. I'm freely allowed to go around. I will insult people again. I will leap from the shadows, say horrible things about bot lanes, leap back in the shadows. No one is ever. And plus, by the way, as I said, we get flamed to fuck. It's just part of the territory. Like, all you need to know is this. In the early days of eSports, before there was like mass forums like this, it was just only like fans on websites and IRC and stuff. I'll take the world now where I get paid a good salary and have an awesome life with some flame over the world where you're just an obscure fuck just grinding away for almost nothing there is no fans. Like, that world sucks. You don't want to go there, I'm telling that.
I mean, in terms of like the fan stuff, like in your restaurant analogy, but I feel like sometimes fans are the ones walking into sushi restaurants and complaining to the chef and the waiter, dude, my food came out raw. Mm-hmm. Like, they have no idea what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah. You're like, that's fucking sashimi. Yes. Like, hello?
I don't care what it is. It came out fucking
but like, I don't care what Korean mid laner that is. It's going back.
Or even just wanting it a different way, right? It's just how stuff goes. Like, and I like the whole, how are you able to criticize food if you're not a chef? It's like, well,
of course
you're allowed to. Like, it's a fucking.
No, think about what the other alternative is, right? The food comes, you try it. I don't like that. Well, actually, it's very good. Oh, my mistake.
Yeah, right. It's like,
what's all world's that?
No, I don't like it.
know. But again, to reiterate, as a player, I'm not saying forever, but for this split, Afromu is done. He's well done. It's done for this split, boys. It's done. It's not coming back now. And also, there's no way they're making the playoffs, so come on, he's done. He's done.
Yeah. 100 Thieves legit need to play around.
Because that's why I even think that, dude, that's why here's another thing. When you want to make a point, pick your best example. Why as if Afromu's the hill you're going to die on and say he shouldn't be criticised? Come on. Even he knows he's fucking up in this split. Come on. If you picked a player where it's like, there's a lot more, like the Demote example we gave from before, I could make all sorts of devil advocate examples of why maybe he's not doing that bad, or maybe the context of what he has to put up with, maybe he has no comms. Afromu's like the shot caller of the team, and he's the one mispositioned. He's the one getting caught out. Like in that scenario, you've picked the wrong one there. Like that's an example where everyone has to give it up. Like he has to get flamed a bit. He has to get criticised a bit, surely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So last thing I want to finish up the show on is, I mean, Zirene, I know you used to do content and streaming and like a little bit of casting before. Like casting for Riot it should have and would have been a dream job for you. So I'm kind of curious, like where you go from now. Okay. Like
unemployment on my bed. No, I'm just, no. What I want to do is
I didn't want to break it to you, Loco, but this is the last episode of Listen Loco. I'm starting a show called By the Way, Zirene, and we're just ready for playoffs. Yeah. So it was nice of you to join us on the first episode, Loco. If you could send me the VOD after this and all the ad rev.
We'll do.
Like for me personally, I've always I've never really resonated with the whole public figure thing very highly. Like I understand, being able to give your opinions out there and everything like that, and being able to take whatever people give you back. But the thing I don't like is like persona, putting on a show or anything like that for me. So I like being very viscerally myself. And so I'm going to do streams, VOD reviews. League of Legends is still my specialty. I'm going to look at a whole bunch of other opportunities as well. But I want to do things like even just sit in like a fucking Discord and be there with like my subs and watch LCS, because a lot of people like don't have access to something like that where they're like, yo, I just fucking chill at home by myself watching LCS. I'm like, I probably add a lot more value being a professional or former professional caster for the game, sitting in a Discord with some other people. Sure, it's like, maybe 10, 15, 20 people, but it's still going to enrich those people's lives. I'm the dude who like would go out and spend an hour talking to a random fan because they stopped me. Like,
he's the one encouraging him, Loco. He's ruining it for all of us.
but it's like, I understand the idea of you can't do it for everybody, right?
Sure.
You can't give everybody time. And that's why eventually celebrities go, well, I can't spend time talking to you. Let me just sign something and fuck off, right? But for me, it's always been, I don't feel like I'm more important or more valuable than anybody else. So I like to give people a ton of my time. Like I did this thing on my stream for a long time called Zirene Talks, where I talk to people or listen to people about mental health issues that they're having, any issues that they're having, and kind of use my back.
Don't make the same vicious joke, anyone. Just keep going.
No. It has nothing. Like, in fact, I was like going to push back on that super heavily. But yeah, it's like for me, it's very serious because psychology used to be the profession that I was pursuing, and it's always been something that's plagued me in my life. I have a lot of different issues, so being there for people and not feeling like I'm any more valuable or less valuable than them is something that I can't shake in my life. And I know that people are like, you have to believe you're the best, and I can't always think that. So it does cap me in terms of casting. Like I'm never going to be the Captain Flowers or like the best caster ever. I can't be that beast in that area because empathy is probably one of my strongest, if not my strongest suits.
Yeah, me too.
Ever.
Same thing.
Thing is, though, there is one good benefit, though, to the period you're about to go onto now, Zirene. You can just forget that alarm clock, wake up whenever you want.
Fuck yeah.
Just looking on the bright side, glass half full.
Oh my God, Dorian.
Dude. Yeah, legit, I can't believe that shit happened. That was like...
It's all right, mate. I even messaged you. It was like shit like that happens.
It was literally the same. Like I swapped phones and shit, and I didn't realize there was an encryption thing when it restarts. So it's not a phone until you unlock it. And so it doesn't give you calls, texts, alarms, anything. And I'm just like, ugh.
Okay, right. I've said the inappropriate thing. We can now, by contract obligation, end the episode.
Anything you want to shout out? Anywhere people can find your content and stuff?
Twitch.tv/Zirene, Zirene, and also the same thing on Twitter, twitter.com/Zirene, Zirene. I'll be starting up other stuff too. You can join my Discord, chat. There's a lot of people in there, and I'll be streaming and doing VOD reviews and simultaneous stuff alongside the LCS. I think I'm also going to do a Reddit rundown after LCS every day, Saturday, Sunday. And I'm going to go through the top threads and I'm going to look at the fucking games and be like, this guy's an idiot. This guy is an idiot. Like,
so you're going to shamelessly rip off Blame Game.
Is it? Oh, well, I mean, like, he
looks
at regular comments, right?
You've got it completely wrong there, Loco. He's not going to rip off Blame Game. He's going to actually blame some people.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Oh.
Have you never seen the blame game before? The blame game goes like, I know this guy just got like caught out completely and 4 people went in on him, but there's other players on the map as well, and they have families. Anyway, the next segment, it's like, he always went too far to make it not blame. I know what he means, right? To be fair, that's obviously the biggest problem fans have. It's just a quick tangent is they do what you call single factor analysis. They look for the one thing that costs the whole game. There's almost never going to be that, guys. Like, even when I flamed Deathly there, fucking Ole did plenty of stuff in the game. Contracts had some weird games. No one person really threw the whole game.
Like what is it? It's like people flame Afro Moon, but I watched Soligo get caught out by Bjergsen, solo killed right before Elder Dragon comes up. I see them not playing around someday in the top lane when he's 3-0 on Riven, or when he's playing Aatrox with a 4K fucking gold lead. Like, everybody is making different mistakes in these games, and if you're going to pinpoint like the very obvious one, of course, but there are small ones that just keep adding up where you're like, if this team was a little more refined here, if someday had stayed in the bush an extra second and covered for Soligo, like, he's not going to die there, maybe you can contest it. It's like, there's so many things because there's so many moving parts in League of Legends as a team. But can't just fixate on one fucking thing unless it's literally that's the end of the game. And even then you can go like, well, they shouldn't have been in that position because X, Y, Z. So,
yes.
Yeah.